it on in my butthole. And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 169. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And we are officially in the 169, a sex position I was doing with multiple girls throughout all these years when I would bring girls home back to my apartment. You know, go to a bar, pick up a chick, come home. We'd have a lot of sex, and then I'd kick her out because why would I want a girl to live with me or be around me? Anything more than just a, hey, I'm going to blow my load inside of this and leave you, just like my dad. But, you know, all jokes aside, we actually have one topic tonight, and that's just going to be the Kathleen Kennedy might be actually finally stepping down as the president of Lucasfilm. Lunchbox Warren is going to dip out in about 20 minutes, but he'll be back. He's just going to go pick up his brother, actually. So do you want us to wait for the topic until you get back, or do you want to just do it now? That's up to you.
We can do it. It's all good. Whichever one you guys want to do.
Well, because that thing is, I don't know if it'll be in 20 minutes, though. You know?
Okay, well, you can wait then, because I'll take off here in the next, like 15, 20 minutes, then I'll be right back.
Because then I can also have some one-on-one time with Gray, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Bro.
Yeah. So how long would it take you to get back, actually?
He gets off at 10, and then I'll be back within 10 minutes after that, so 10:10.
Okay, good. That's fine. Yeah, we get to wait until you get back then. All right, so we don't really always do intros. I remember I got in trouble for not doing an intro for some fucking loser. He was like, I came on his show and he didn't introduce me first. Fucking narcissistic, fucking self-absorbed, stupid son of a bitch. What the fuck? Man, I didn't introduce you on the show first. Fuck off. Shut up. Crybabies out there in the world now.
I just asked if you would. I mean, you don't have to make a big deal about it.
What? I'm just saying he made a big deal about it. I don't I literally introduced him maybe as I think it was maybe a big panel that night on Monday. I think I introduced him 4th, 5th, but goddamn, just some of the things people get angry about is just so cringe these days. But yeah, Ray, how you doing, man?
Oh, fantabulous. Just been kind of deep diving into the news of the day. Interesting. People got a lot of opinions on this, and I don't know. I feel like it's kind of the Disney problem. Everyone wants to blame one person, but I think it's a committee problem. But we'll get into it later. But good times, man. It's a good day. I'm looking forward to the future.
Is the Force's female the future?
With any luck, yes. Scantily clad and just, full steam ahead.
Yeah. So also for you guys to know this, Cyfax usually appears on Wednesdays, but he, as he said on Monday, he was
dentist appointment.
No, God, he might be at a dentist appointment. He might be leaving me, but no, he had said, what did he say? He's not going to be on tonight because I won't be home until after 10, but you guys have a good show. Yeah, that's not going to happen. If this happens after 10, I just won't have the show. I would just have to put this off until next week when we do our usual kind of show on Wednesday. So yeah, Cyfax, he had to drive out further for work this week. That's why the show started a little bit later than they normally did. But normally this show would generally start around 8:30 p.m. PST. The problem tonight was I had to put off my Wednesday show. Oh, no, fucking hell. My brain is not working. I need a brain check, as Grey Poupe would say.
Why are you putting out tonight's show? Why do we have to put it off, man?
See, this is what I'm going to get into. Was yesterday, I was supposed to do the show with Last Comic Fan, which I did, and we reviewed Absolute Batman #3, and we talked about the new Batman #1 getting relaunched, and then we were supposed to do Battlebrook Road Volume 1 with Professor Savage Dad yesterday, but then my friend's nephew's band came downstairs to be in their studio to play, and it was, as people know, I can only manage that on a one-on-one if that person is going to constantly talk, but in a review, I have to be able to talk and converse with the person for a review. We're putting out a good review that's thorough and all that stuff that you guys like, and I can't do that. I can't concentrate with music like that. Even if you're not gonna be able to hear it, I can, and it just too distracting. So me and Savage Dad, we just talked on StreamYard for about a good 2 hours, and chilled, and we said, hey, we'll just kind of push our show to Wednesday because that's even better for me personally, because I would have to get up the show with Labs, review a book that he wants me to review, and I have to read it because I would basically read the book that last one wants me to read before our show, and it just gives me hassle. So moving forward now, I'll probably just do the show that I do with Savage Dad, which is about 2 weeks out of the month on Wednesday around 6 p.m. PST, which is before we do our show anyway at 8:30 with us anyway. But also tonight, I scheduled Joe Atmosphere around 7 because I thought I was going to be done at 5:30, but Savage had some technical difficulties. So it was just a whole day of just technical difficulties, bullshit, StreamYard messing up my mic settings so I wouldn't hear people properly. Oh my God. But we're here, guys. We're here, And this week coming up, for the next 2 weeks, Lunchbox Warren is going to take Laps Comics fans' place on the Friday show, and we're going to actually start reviewing Absolute Wonder Woman. So as you guys know, I did read Absolute Power, which was the event to open up the Absolute universe, which didn't really do that. It mostly just opened up shit that goes in the main universe for All In, but I did read the DC All In #1 special, which actually opened up the universe of that whole Absolute universe with Darkseid and everything. Currently, we finished reading the first 3 issues of Absolute Batman, and the next one I had was Wonder Woman. The reason why Superman is last is because that's the thing. That was the title that I heard the least good things about. So I will reserve my reservations for Absolute Superman. Because I heard Wonder Woman and Batman were the best ones. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just go for those. Those are the best ones first that people have said. So, But I was going to buy these and review these anyway because it's comic books and I just kind of love reviewing them. So that's just my thing. And I love reading them as well. So, next 2 weeks, Labs Comic, because he starts a new job. And his new job has him doing 6 days. And he'd be fucking fried if he did the show with us. Me and him, you go for 2 hours. Pause, no homo, actually. So we're going to go, basically it's the same thing. So this week, Absolute Wonder Woman #1 topic, Absolute Wonder Woman #3. Sorry, good Lord. Absolute Wonder Woman #2, next week, topic. Same thing on the shows. A review and then a topic. That's the easiest way. Some nights we did 3. We did 2 topics and a review. I was fried. I was absolutely done. I was like, holy shit, man. But no, I've saved the juicy topic for me and Warren to talk about on this Friday. Absolute Wonder Woman #1, and we'll probably end up going over. Which one do you want to cover? Because I have it for. I told Laps we'd probably do Supergirl #1, that discussion together, so we could talk about DC and Marvel having their crossover coming up. There's a lot to cover, honestly. I just got a topic for it, but there's quite a bit there. That's Supergirl #1 topic. Oh my God, Jesus fucking Christ! People are so retarded when it comes to things now. Does no one understand the concept of a fucking red flag? No one's saying Dad, because there's a Looney Tune writing it. What I said was that this is a red flag. People like them are narcissistic and they're mentally fucked in the head. They don't know what gender they are. I don't know if that person is going to be able to write comic books, let alone even know what human being they are. Not saying it's going to be bad, but that's a red flag. That's just what it is. But Lunchbox Warren, how was your day, man? What's going on with you?
It was good. It's going good. I just received the first print run of the second issue of my comic book.
Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that came in a couple days ago, so I'm real excited about that. And just been drawing comics and working, just getting all that stuff done and getting ready for my big show in April. So.
Yeah, so in April, Lunchbox Warren's leaving us, man. He's taking a break from the show. I pay this man good money to be here every Wednesday, and he literally.
I'm still waiting for that check, by the way.
Oh shit! Fuck! I gotta go suck some dick on OnlyFans to get it, probably. Nah, but I would have sex with women for that, not
sure. We believe
it. Yeah, of course.
Oh, you know what's crazy? I just remembered her name in my head because I hadn't heard of her in so long. Michelle Trachtenberg's. She died today.
Yeah, dude, she was only 39. Damn.
They haven't said how, but they said it wasn't suspicious or criminal. It just sounds like she either had health or she was or sadly it might have been drugs or something. I don't know.
Get a feeling it might be the latter. She had some kind of concerning tweets as like her last few, and then I don't know if you've seen her recently, but she looked really gaunt, like
yeah,
which sucks, man. She was awesome. I remember like all those things, like what was she, like Harriet the Spy, and I mean, of course, like a million other things, but
Euro Trip.
What was it? Euro Trip? Yeah, man.
Yep.
For sure. She'll forever be in my memory. That sucks, man.
yeah.
I was hoping a lot of these kind of 90s stars could have a comeback, but sadly, it looks like there will be no Buffy reunion or whatever.
Because that's the thing that I wanted to bring up regarding her, is because I was literally thinking, I randomly thought of her name in my head. I was like, I haven't heard from this actress in God knows how long. I know her from being the good old Georgina in Gossip Girl, and she had a huge Georgina as a joke to the Gossip Girl community. And I was like, she was a great character in Gossip Girl, like such a great layered character in that show. And I know she was in a lot of other movies for a lot of other people too, but like, goddamn, she's gone. It's like, she was a really talented actress though. She had a lot of layers. She had a lot of depth to her character. You really believe that she was that character when she was actually acting. God, man, she's gone. That's crazy. That was a random curveball. Just open up Twitter, said Michelle Trachtenberg is dead. Holy shit. Okay, I guess that's where I start my day off then. Fucking hell.
Yeah, the top of the article there said she had a liver transplant, so she must have been having some real big health
that's
problems.
Drinking related. Has to be.
At 39, I mean, yeah.
I mean, what else could it be unless she was a severe alcoholic? I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
it could be something
you could always
inherited too. You know,
yeah, like a liver disease, liver cancer, but
yeah,
you never know. You know, that either way, that sucks.
It does. It's tragic.
Generally, they're I mean, if it was a drinking problem or anything, they're usually not going to give you a new liver. You kind of have to prove that you're, not going to do that to the new one.
Yeah.
Oof. Actress Michelle Trachtenberg, known for her roles in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Gossip Girl, passed away at the age of 39. Recent reports indicate she had undergone a liver transplant. Tributes from colleagues and fans alike are flooding social media, reflecting her impact on the entertainment industry and the hearts of many. Yeah, she's a very known, talented actress. Just damn. Why? The ones that are literally pieces of garbage never die. Like the whole Mark Hamill situation. Kevin Conroy died of cancer. The good guy. Mark Hamill, the actual crazy lunatic man, still alive. They always take the good ones.
Wait.
God, man.
You think that bad people don't die? Does that explain your personality?
Oh, well, no, I'm saying, like, what world do we live in where the original voice actor for Harley Quinn, Two-Face, and Cameron Conroy all have to go, but Mark Hamill doesn't? Oh, goodness, that was a little too risque for YouTube, She's a great actress. She was gorgeous, too, She wasn't just ugly, she looked great. But, yeah, goddamn, she was in a lot of stuff. Good gosh. Well,
she was, man.
Jeez. It reminds me of, like, I still remember when Paul Walker passed away, too. Remember that? That was so random when it happened. It's like the main lead of Fast and Furious is dead. And I was like, what the fuck? I legitimately didn't believe it. I thought that was actually just fake. Because, there's those freaking articles out there of, like, actors dying, whatever. Like, they said Jerry Springer died in a car crash. And he's like, I didn't die of a car crash. I'm right here.
Yeah.
And he died. Yeah. So that always happens. It's always fake news of actors dying. Like, initially, I think the ones that I didn't believe initially up front were Jason David Frank for Power Rangers, Paul Walker, Akira Toriyama. Akira Toriyama was just last year.
Yeah, Chester Benningfield from Linkin Park.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. I was never a fan of their music. I never really heard a lot of it, but I know a lot of people that one hurt.
Yeah, that one was just a tragic suicide. And
oof. Like, damn, Akira Toriyama created possibly one of the most influential and most impactful things ever made, which was like the Dragon Ball franchise. And the way that he died, like, man, he died of an aneurysm. Fuck.
Well, that lifestyle of the mangaka is extremely terrible on your health, and they've just recently started.
It's crazy because he's a million. He would be considered a multi-millionaire from our currency. And you think if he's already made it, but people understand, he still loves Dragon Ball. He loved Dragon Ball so much, even when he was already a millionaire. He loved it just as much as he created it first time around. It was crazy with him. I don't know why he always did it, because he was getting old. His brain was frying. He's like, the reason why Trunks' hair is purple in Dragon Ball Super is because I forgot what color it was. I was like, Akira, just look up what you made. It's not that hard.
Go over to the shelf and grab it.
Literally just look at what you made. What are you talking about, weirdo?
Google that shit.
He should have been like, he should have literally been like on a yacht partying with some hot Asian bitches, having them suck him off or something. Where it's like, if he has that bad of health, he's rich enough. They should have health care for him. He should have access to the best health care around. It's like, how did he die of this aneurysm and no one knew he was sick like that? Unless it was just sudden and it just happened all at once and he just collapsed. You know,
how much money was he actually getting from Dragon Ball?
I don't know.
Sometimes honestly, they get pretty shitty deals, especially over there in Japan when it comes to these manga series.
But is there a world you would believe that he wouldn't be a millionaire? There's no way he creates Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
broke.
It would be hard to, because like Goku is like everywhere. Like
there's a national Goku Day in Japan too. Yeah.
Well, Mexico, I think they love him in Mexico and Brazil more than Japan do almost. I mean, they love some Dragon Ball.
Or like Taikubo, who created Bleach. Like, there's no. I mean, if there's a world where Achirita Oda and Taikubo are broke, then that means what are we even creating? Like, there's no way you should be creating that much influential shit, and then you're the one who's poor. Like, there's no way Hirokoshi, who created My Hero Academia, there's no reason he should be pour. That shouldn't be a thing. You know,
his health is bad too. He's
constantly taking breaks. He was gonna end the series when the second movie came out. The one with the first one's Two Heroes or some shit like that, or Heroes Collide or whatever. Or the second one,
Two Heroes. Was that the first one?
The first one was really good. Yeah. I love the first one is fucking great.
And then they used his original ending for the second movie, I think. The one.
Sorry, Two Heroes is the first movie, and the second movie is, I think, World's Heroes Mission? No, I'm wrong. Good lord.
No, that's the third movie. The last one was what was that? You're Next or whatever. It's the dark.
Oh my god, Heroes Rising. Jeez.
Heroes Rising.
Yeah. I remember being in that whole lockdown period, just straight up waiting for the movie to drop, because I didn't see it in theaters, so the only way to watch it was dubbed, because on subbed websites were fucking up with like subbing it and shit. I know they did My Hero Academia World Heroes. I didn't see that one or the Your Next one, but I did see the first one. The first one is really good.
I'm waiting for the Your Next one to come out on video so I can buy it. That one was good.
Like, because I remember on the second one, he wanted to end the anime off on the second movie and just be kind of done with it. His health is bad. He even took breaks all the time on it. You know, like manga people get ran through the fucking ground if you're that popular.
Yeah, I looked up Oda's schedule. And it was he only gave himself 2 hours a week to be with
same thing with Taikubo, right? He only gave him 5 hours of free time a week, guys, not a day, a week.
Yeah, these are like sleeping maybe like 5-6 hours a night, and then he starts the pitch, or he turns in his pitch on like Sunday and has to have a finished product by like Thursday or Friday, and it's like each chapter is like 21 pages that he has to get done.
The Yu-Gi-Oh creator, Kazuki Takahashi. Yeah, he drowned saving people.
I will be back, though. I got to take off now. So
you're fine, man.
I'll just turn off my cam and mute.
Yeah, Akira Toriyama. Sorry, not Akira Toriyama. Oh, my God. Kazuki Takahashi. He did a comic book with, I think, Iron Man and Spider-Man. I forgot. There was this comic book he did that I need to buy and review eventually. But no, he was man, created Yu-Gi-Oh! Super influential. But yeah, Gray, what do you think, man?
Rest in peace. There's a lot of dead people out there. It sucks when it's some of the good ones.
Like Masashi Kishimoto, it's like, is he still putting in effort on Boruto? It's like, dude, you should have just ended it at fucking Shippuden. Why in the world did you ever do Boruto? I tried to watch Boruto, I did, but it was just not my jam. I had to get out. I'm good. My Naruto just ends at Shippuden. Maybe I'll watch the first Boruto movie. That's probably where it ends for me. Good gosh. Oh,
I hate to agree with you, but I only made it a couple episodes into Boruto.
You made it a couple? Oh god, I made it to like this like time travel thing, which would insanely screw up how the world would work. I was like, I'm done. Like my Naruto ends at this point. There's no more there. It's cool to see how the characters have grown, their age up, and they have kids, but it's like, shit. Why did this have to happen? Because money. Let's cap off the sadness with Kathleen Kennedy news. I told Warren we would wait till he gets back to that. I'm just so sad that
you lie to a lot of people. I mean, including yourself. What's Warren that you can't lie to him too?
I would never lie to Warren. I like him so much that I would never willingly lie to him like you guys. He's black like me, and he understands the white blackness in me.
Hmm. Okay.
But I did want to show you this.
Oh, you're showing me something.
I know
Are you
you're
sure
gonna
this
like
is
it.
okay on stream? Oh,
Yes. I know a lot of you guys liked X-Men 97. Season 2 set for 2026. The release of X-Men
no.
97 Season 2
That
on Disney
sucks.
Plus. What?
It
What
was
happened?
always said that it was going to be announced, but 2025. Damn it. Okay.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, originally it was supposed to come out in 2025, or it was rumored that that would be a potential release date here for it. Yeah.
I
X-Men
was hoping fall.
97 Season 2 set for 2026. The release of X-Men 97 Season 2 on Disney Plus is confirmed for 2026 by Marvel executive Brad Winderbaum. What a name. This news has been wildly reported and shared across various entertainment news platforms and fan communities. Because remember what you said? They were going to end up potentially retooling what Bo DeMayo had originally planned for Season 2. That has to be the reason why it's coming out a year later. It's a full year later compared to what it was supposed to be.
Thinking so. So he happened to recently be on the Diabolical Souls podcast, but when he was on their stream, he mentioned like how much the studio really kind of rode him to like redo the last 2 episodes, and it was while they had just a couple weeks left, it was basically almost no time, and still what he was able to pull off is like amazing. But I would not doubt that they were really trying to get them to retool everything that he kind of set together, because they had the entire outline, the script, everything all ready for 2, and supposedly was going to animation. So that really sucks. It shouldn't have taken that long. I'm assuming the only thing that's going to make it that long is they're rewriting it to get his ideas out of it. And they had a couple of ideas of where they're going to go, but he initially had planned the Onslaught thing. Like it was literally going to be Polaris going back in time and trying to convince Magneto back in the day. There's this bar scene where it's young Charles, young Magneto. Originally, there was supposed to be some time travel shenanigans going back there and trying to talk him out of it. But man, they instead changed it. And now it's going to this apocalypse thing. I just have to think this just means that every single storyline got changed. So I kind of doubt if they can pull it together. I really hope they can, but we'll see. Otherwise,
you liked season 1 a lot, didn't you?
Dude, season 1 was badass. Season 1 was great. I absolutely loved it. I don't know if you can tell that I was a fan, but yeah, man. Season 1 is seriously like peak. I'd say MCU, man. It's peak Disney. For me, that might actually take the cake out of any of their TV shit. It makes you feel for characters that you really shouldn't. And man, they really went above and beyond, and they chose some amazing voice actors too. Just, it's a shame. I hope they can bring up that quality, but man, 2026, I think that means there's a lot of retooling.
Yeah, because you know what's crazy, man? I remember when they first announced X-Men 97 at the 2022 Comic-Con, when they announced it was the Multiverse Saga and it was going to be the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars and all that stuff. People got to factor in, like, all of that stuff when it was fully known it was going to come out, people had already forgotten it existed. Maybe not X-Men, but you were like, huh, I kind of forgot that even existed, really. You know, it came out a lot. I'm glad a lot of people said they liked it. That's great. That's great to hear that they didn't fucking phone it in on X-Men. That's a really good thing. And keep in mind, Bo DeMayo, from what I've seen in some of his videos, he really does like the X-Men. But the only red flag was like, but the only red flag that I was initially concerned with, like, oh, they're hiring a fucking fruitcake to write, and it's like red flag. But no, it turned out he made a good product, and that's good. It's actually a great thing. It proves that just because you might be a fruitcake doesn't mean you're a mentally deranged weirdo who can't, you know, make a quality product.
No, you can be both, MSK. We believe in you. You don't have to choose a lane. Just drive down the center. You got this. But no, like, so everyone was really cautious of it, especially at the beginning. I know a lot of people were reluctant to be like, well, this is good. Like, you just heard who's in charge. And I think a lot of people had some preconceived notions. But man, this dude had a passion for everything. And it really sucks. It sounds like he kind of got railroaded out of there. But
did you see his
who knows?
video?
There's 2 sides to every story. I have. I don't know, because that's only one side. And before we had kind of heard the other side, I don't know where the truth lies. But yeah, I know that guy is amazing at running a show. And if he's sending pictures and he looks like that, maybe it's not a sexual thing. Maybe it is actually, hey, here's what a superhero would look like doing this pose. Do this pose. I don't know, but I'm a little inclined to kind of believe that, just maybe. But we'll see. I'm sure the truth will come out someday.
I remember on John Roca's show, he had a freaking video. I don't know if it was live stream. I'm pretty sure the pre-recorded video where he had someone on, and it was like the title reads: Bo DeMayo and Rob Liefeld call out Marvel and Kevin Feige's fakeness, in quotes, the Geek Buddies. Like, from the general sentiment that you got, because he made this video called the Marvel Disney Statement, he looks like he is about to drop some very, very big heat on Kevin Feige, because Rob Liefeld, was like, hey, he spent, get him off the mount. And we'll cover that in a recent, an upcoming MSK show when it's a topic. But I remember, I hadn't watched this video yet. I wanted to bookmark it to go over it. But I'll be honest with people, why would, how would I say it? So everyone sees Kevin Feige as a nice person, but people have to keep in mind, that's the persona he has to show you. He's not going to show you he's a piece of shit or a bad person. Some people are just different when they're in front of the camera versus when they're behind the camera. But it sounds like from the tone of the video, they were just not all in on making it like an authentic representation of the X-Men, which is like, what in the world? No. What the fuck's going on?
They really weren't. And there were some limitations they put on them. Like, originally, Sunfire wasn't supposed to be a huge member of the squad, but they really needed some sort of representation. He checked a couple of boxes, so they kind of moved that character in there. Fair enough. I don't hate what they did with him, but he's obviously nobody's favorite character. Well, I'm sure he's somebody's favorite character, but still, with what he was able to do, and you can see that everything was leading up to this whole Onslaught arc. Yeah. I still think they recovered it amazingly. The finale of this, it works on so many levels, and it goes so hard, man. I did not expect that I'd be liking this thing, and I reluctantly got on board with it. But man, it's one of the greatest Marvel things that they've ever done. I think it is the best animated anything from the X-Men so far. I'm just fully on board, and I wish we could have gotten DeMayo's second season. I think it would have gone really hard as well.
Because now we're at this other point. I don't know if you watched this show, because I saw the trailer and I was like, I'm just not going to care for this, honestly. The trailer did not convince me otherwise. It was a Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, also having its next season drop in 2026.
I haven't. The animation kind of lost me. I do want to actually watch it, but I wanted to wait for everything to come on out, kind of binge it, but I just have no motivation to do it. And I'm not hearing anybody, kind of that groundswell of, no, this is really amazing. Like they've kept that legacy going. So that sucks. I did hear a little bit of that for, X-Men 97.
Marvel Animation has announced that your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man will return for a second season in 2026. Brad Winderbaum, head of Marvel Animation, has expressed intentions to release new seasons annually following the premiere of season 2, aiming to keep fans engaged with regular content updates. Now, the reason why people judge this is like, okay, you have one season this year, but this gap between your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man season 1 and season 2 is not that big, honestly. And this is going to wrap up fairly shortly, but this is not as big of a gap as I just said. With X-Men 97, that's a pretty decent, it's technically a 2-year gap, but do you think people will be rushing to watch it after having basically just like a year away from it?
I think they're killing the momentum for sure. I know everybody that I talked to who watched that last season, the second that finale dropped, are like, I hope they're coming back with season 2 in 2025. I hope it's going to be like spring. And that was kind of the I don't know, hints that they were putting out, that before Bo DeMayo got laid off, he was talking about everything that was solidified on season 2. Then the second he did get kicked out of there, he was still saying, but don't worry, we have everything turned in on season 2. The turnaround on it shouldn't be that big. But man, that just sucks.
Saturday.
Sadly, I think they're doing that where they're just killing the motivation.
Yes. Yeah. I saw all the DC stuff, but there's so much there to break down. It would have to be like a topic singularly in a MSK show episode. I couldn't just do it like as a second.
It was
topic.
Supposed to be tonight, but yes. MSK couldn't. His lady got mentioned, so he has to come in here in White Knight for her. He's got to stand for Kathleen. But this does give him some time to practice his reading skills. So hopefully this Saturday show will be perfect, and there will be no Nazquacks. He will not bring Great Dinosaur to this show or any other show with his reading of it. But he should get through that quite soon. So you're saying there's 7 projects a year? God damn. Did they not learn from like the Disney Marvel?
I can give you some cliff notes. We can go over those really quickly. Give me one second. I have them here.
I honestly didn't look into it at all. I wanted to kind of experience it fresh from the MSK.
I will give you guys something very fresh and hot, like my cock. No, I'm joking.
Okay. So you've got an appetizer for us then.
So this is the cliff notes. Okay. So I'm saying before I go over any of the thoughts that James Gunn has for all this stuff on Saturday when we do it like as one big video, this is the cliff notes of one part of it. DC has set a goal to release 7 projects a year, 2 live action films, 1 animated film, 2 live action shows, 2 animated series. There is a plan set for the next 6 years. Now, this is the same thing that you just brought up that I will also bring up too. Now, this is going in an overboard direction. Marvel just recently is pulling back from doing that exact same thing because it does overwhelm people, because people always use both mindsets that I'll explain to you right now, which is, well, if it's all really good, I'll be fine with it. Guys, literally just understand what you just said. You're saying that, so let's just say this is out of 100%, right? There's no way if they keep doing that, every single thing listed right here will be good. That's just not how that's going to work. That's just not how these projects are made in that way, Then if a lot of this stuff ends up not as good, then you get to this point where now you're just getting an overload of content that obviously is not that good, and you're kind of just hoping to get good content out of it, out of the animated series, animated movies, the live action shows, and the live action films. That's kind of where I'm at currently with that right now. And keep in mind, there's a much more bigger form way of covering this, which we'll be doing on Saturday. But the live action movies, I know firsthand it's going to be Superman, Clayface, Supergirl. I know they're working on those right now. I'm pretty sure Supergirl is next. I don't know what's going to happen with the Authority, because I'm pretty sure I heard some stuff is going to be put on the back burner, which is fine. I don't think certain things need to take precedent over other things. To be honest here, I don't think you even need a Clayface movie when you should be setting up like the main heroes of the universe first, And that's kind of where I'm at with it right now, which is like, I'm okay with the movies. I think you need the live action movies the most because they're going to end up being the biggest attraction, to
for sure
a lot of people.
Well, I mean, like right now they've got animated movies, but are they really the blockbusters? Are they really making money?
No, and it's kind of just always coasting off the past good ones that they made, if we're being honest here. Yeah. People remember the past really, really good ones, but the newest ones out of the Tomorrowverse were just lazy animation and fucking very hit or miss, honestly. The
ones that hit, they hit hard, man.
They do. Yeah.
But this breakdown, it doesn't freak me out as much. When you said 7 per year, I was like, oh shit. So they're gonna do the inundation
as long
thing.
As they're all spaced out, maybe it might work. But Marvel literally just moved away from this because it was overwhelming people. People got so tired of
I don't know that this is. If they're going to do stuff in animation like Creature Commandos or something like that, I don't know that's for everybody. But man, for me, that was awesome. I absolutely loved Creature Commandos. And if that counts as like one of the animated ones that they're going to do like this year or whatever the first year, hell yeah. It's definitely not going to be for everybody. I'm sure they're going to go, Superman for the live action and one of the other big ones.
Supergirl first. Let me see. I think
that makes sense.
Maybe
that's what the most fans are going to be for.
DC Studios. Because they usually have an update of the stuff coming out in order with the release dates. Quickly didn't make any updates. Let me see if they made any updates. So yeah. Oh, they actually. Oh, because remember when we were looking at this like last year on the show, they had the Authority here. The Authority's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. I was kind of looking forward to that. Okay.
Maybe that might have been one of the projects they talked about getting put on the back burner, honestly. So you have Superman obviously coming out. That's the beginning of everything. Technically, Creature Commandos is the beginning, but I guess I digress. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, that's the book written by Tom King. Jason Momoa as Lobo has been casted in that, so we'll get to see him on there.
Clayface, man, September 11th.
Clayface solo movie. See, that's the thing where it's like, does that technically now make them Sony a random villain movie that exists?
I mean,
because of Clayface can
not
be
trying to do spoilers, but Clayface has already been in the DCU. We only had a momentary experience, but
I saw the spoiler. Yeah, he's good in there. To be fair with Clayface and his origin stories between the New 52 and his original story, he's normally I would not give this grace to most villains. I wouldn't, but he is a character you can kind of do a solo movie on. But it has to be in a specific way, given how the character's made. I don't know which version they're going to do, which is the original, or they're going to do the New 52 one. I don't know about that. Or
I just think Clayface is awesome, considering what they were able to do in like 20. What was it? Was it like 2000? Now I can't even remember the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3, but with the Sandman or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, everything has gotten so much better CG wise. Like I really think they could pull it off, especially if they're going to use like prosthetics and stuff, kind of like they did with the Penguin, but then kind of use it to just help and tweak it out to augment. I really think they could do something awesome with Clayface.
Untitled Batman sequel. Oh no, we covered this news on the channel.
That one's not really a part of this, is it? Isn't Matt Reeves' part still different?
Yeah, essentially he came out and he was like, no, Robert Pattinson's Batman is not in the universe. But he's always saying the thing of like, it's not in our universe, but that could change depending on how things play out. Because people have said this like you do. So when these kind of things happen, just because someone says it's going to be that way doesn't mean like they won't ever change their mind given certain circumstances. Like, I'll be honest, man, there's no reason why they shouldn't use Robert Pattinson's Batman. It's already there for them. Like, well, I get it.
You could go a completely different way, man. If you got Corn Sweat as Superman, you could have someone better than. I got to be honest, I was not looking forward to Pattinson as Batman, but
Bruce Wayne is very bad.
I like the movie.
No, it's not the. It's not
I like the movie. It's grown on me. And as Walter pointed out with the Penguin, like when I heard he's getting his own spinoff, it's like, why? Like it makes no sense to me. And it turned out to be one of my favorite shows in years. It's one of my favorite mob shows in years, and I love that entire thing too. So I don't know. I think the Clayface one could be really cool, man.
And yet Matt Reeves hasn't turned in a script for this movie yet. He's not. But to be fair, James Gunn said he went through a personal tragedy, so that's more than fine to have something delayed. It's not delayed because he's like, I don't know, partying and snorting crack or something. If he had a personal tragedy, that's fine. I would assume the movie starts filming at the beginning of part of next year, because it's coming out October 7th, 2027. That means this movie has to at least start filming late this year, early next year. But like the whole Batman the Brave and the Bold idea, I'm just not a huge fan of Andy Muschietti directing it. He directed a terrible Flash movie. His Batman were terrible in that movie. That guy's going to get Batman Brave and the Bold? Fuck. Good God.
Well, I will say, though, the Flash movie was really messed with.
Ever made.
Well, it was messed with. Like, it was originally filmed for one direction, and then they had to try to make all these changes, and then they made more changes when the whole James Gunn thing was going to happen. So I think I hold out because the Batman the action scenes looked really good. The costume wasn't great, so I'm with the Batman part. So I'm hoping he does a good job, because there was a lot of studio interference with the Flash movie. So
dude, people don't know that movie went through hell and back. Like. Wow. Originally, it was supposed to be like a Back to the Future kind of homage. Those guys quit. 2 more guys come. Oh my God, that movie's production was hell. Literally, that movie entered production the same year that the Flash season 1 came out. And then it came out the last year the Flash had its final season. Oh my God, man. That Flash movie is just not a cursed production, but goddamn, was just fucking always pushed back. Sasha Kal-El as Supergirl. They got a bitch that acted in Days of Our Lives to play Supergirl. You serious?
Yeah, it wasn't good. Didn't do anything good. Even Michael Keaton handled badly. So.
People are like, oh, I like Sasha Kal-El. I was like, but she didn't. She's just a man version of Henry Cavill with her performance. It's a dude Henry Cavill in a woman's body. I think she herself was a a bad actress, but that Kara, that's an alternate version of her. That look, she had the look of that alternate version, but bastard, no one knows Kara that looks like that. That's just us weird, cringy nerds that know that stuff. You know, god damn. But no, I mean, this kind of project thing, it could be so hit or miss. I could easily see a world if the content starts getting not that good and it starts getting to a fatigue level that Marvel got with a lot of people, they easily start cutting stuff back. Because if you get that much content and it at any point starts just going like, man, this show was a slog to get through, like some of the MCU ones, you know? Oh, hell nah. Yeah. 2 shows end up becoming 1 show, 2 movies end up becoming maybe 1 movie. Well, no, they're always going to become more movies, but this is what I wanted to know. Are they going to drop the animated film in theaters? Because people have always asked them to drop their animated films in theaters. I think they are, right? Are they going to do that?
I don't know why. I mean, keep it for their streaming service. I mean, well, some do. Like the Super Pets one went to theaters.
Yep, Crypto the Super Dog in his own movie. Yeah.
The Rock and Kevin whatever Hart again working together.
Oh God, fuck, man. Talk about flop. That was not only just a flop, that was a flop that no one even remembers existing. People told me, MSK, talk about DC a lot. You forgot the other movie that flopped. Like, what did I forget? You forgot Crypto. Right. Super Pets. That flopped. It legitimately, I forgot it so hard. I didn't even realize it. I forgot it came out in theaters. That, God. Hold on. League of Super Pets. Yeah, 2022. Yeah, it came out the same year as Black Adam. That was DC's other movie. Yeah, if you're gonna put animated movies like it's got to be one of your bangers. You can't be putting this out. Oh my God!
No, you gotta do like a Batman Beyond animated movie.
Yeah,
or something along those lines.
That would be awesome.
Swapped. Oh yeah. Fuck! Oh hell nah.
The rumors are the new Rocksteady game is going to be Batman Arkham or Batman Beyond Arkham.
Look at that! Oh God, that is just a fucking fail. That's bad. That's not just a flop. That's now you're just in debt. That's not even a break even. You're just in debt. Fucking hell. Oh, what you guys said. Oh, remember these guys? I forgot the guys' names. They wanted to approach Warner Brothers to do a Batman Beyond, like Miles Morales animated.
Yeah, it was the guy who created the guys who did Miles Morales' movie, the Spider-Verse movie.
They did.
They pitched and they had art and everything for
the art
Batman
looks
Beyond
so
one.
good. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And then they said it was a quote. They were like, "Yeah, what went from a firm no went to a maybe." These people just are stupid. They actually
don't like making money.
Just like are anti-money. Sony's making all this money with the Miles Morales movies, and come on, those are the only movies keeping Miles Morales alive is people to like him. That's another idea and avenue they did explore. I hope James Gunn does that Batman Beyond animated Miles Morales style movie. Please do. That's a great idea. It's another awesome idea that they just didn't do, but fuck me, guys. They did a Batgirl movie, casting that one bitch from Into the Heights. She was in the movie? I think she was.
They filmed all of that and then
filmed all of it and said,
it was so bad. Yeah, it was so bad that they shelved it. Like $90 million. So they just put it on the shelf. So we're not going to show anyone this ever.
What was the Batgirl actress? I forgot her name. Fuck. Batgirl. What was the lead actor? Oh, Leslie Grace. Yeah. I remember that. They completely scrapped it. Like, no one... Barbara is known. I like Barbara. And there's Jessica Kane.
Think of how bad that had to be. Like, Flash still came out. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These people released Birds of Prey, David Ayers. No, sorry. The studio cut of Suicide Squad. They had that trailer company chop up. They put out fucking... You're right, Joker 2. Because that's the thing. Because they were like, it was so bad we couldn't release it. These are the same people that released Birds of Prey. There's nothing worse than that.
You got to keep Joker 2 out of the same thing. Like, I understand I'm in the extreme minority that doesn't like that, but like the studio had nothing to do with that. Since Todd Phillips was like $1 billion success with the first one, they just gave him carte blanche. Like, it has nothing to do with any plans or anything
the conversation
like that.
More, right? Oh my God.
Well, I just mean like it was like a gamble in the first place, and it paid like a huge jackpot, so they just went all in. Like, okay, do whatever you want for the second. It's not the same. Like it even got DC taken off of the start of it.
DC Extended Universe. So like DCEU, let's look at all these bangers that the DCEU chose to put out over background. And keep in mind, I'm not saying it would have been good. It was directed by the Bad Boys 3 directors, Adil and something. I like Bad Boys 3.
It had Brandon Fraser, who's coming off his success of The
Whale. Firefly. That would have been pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a big name actor in there who's just recently was on everyone's, everyone's talking about. So it's like,
this is the same studio that put out. Well, I didn't watch these because I was done after The Flash. I was like, I'm not investing in this anymore. This studio put out The Flash. That was some trash. Shazam 2 stinks. Black Adam is just meh. I love that movie. That movie's fucking great, honestly, in my opinion. This one, not really counting. It's a director's cut. This company put out 1984. Birds of Prey. Josh Whedon's Justice League. Studio cut. BVS. Like, it must have been worse than that. I don't know. It's so hard. When you put out that much trash in a universe, it's hard to me believe that was as bad or worse than those. I just wanted to see it because I wanted to know how low they sunk at that point.
I don't know if it was worse, but it was bad. And they're just like, listen, we've done so many misses. We know this is going to be a miss. We don't even want to take the chance if it becomes a cult favorite. We're just going to shelve it.
Remember, dude? Remember, it was originally supposed to be a straight to streaming movie, and it's like, that even they already spent the extra money to make it more of a bigger film production. It's like, oh my god! Oh, remember there was another movie that they put in the same direction. Blue Beetle was supposed to be straight to streaming. They should put up Blue Beetle. No one talks about that. No one remembers that fucking movie coming out at all.
It wasn't the worst, but it was not good.
It had tacos in it.
I don't know. I mean, I know you enjoyed it because of the stereotypes, MSK, but I got to be honest, it's a character I'm not really familiar of that version of. I kind of knew
that's the only version that I know too. I didn't know Ted Cord. I know Jaime Reyes from the DC animated movie. It was Justice League versus Teen Titans. That's where I first saw him at. I like the character. I like Jaime Reyes, but solo movie, like not every random underknown character gets a solo movie. Like fucking hell, that's the reason why you don't do it. They need to experiment more with kind of duo movies. I think DC could do great with that. Marvel, not so much. Like Green Arrow, Green Lantern, duo movie. Batman, Superman, don't do that. Not the Zack Snyder one. They did retry that. I know they can do better than that. That was just horse shit. Wonder Woman, like Flash and Green Lantern. There's Shazam, Superman. There's Batman, Martian Manhunter. Anything. Try combination movies. I think that would be good for DC. Booster Gold, Blue Beetle. It's a combination that works a lot too.
I think Gunn's going to do that. I think you're going to see guest appearances in every one of the movies, but I don't think he's going to do like what Marvel did, where everything is a setup for the next film. I think he's going to. I think the first wave of DCU stuff is going to be really good, and as it gets good, I think the executives are going to start getting involved more, and then that's where you're going to start seeing like phase 2, phase 3 start going down a little bit. But I do think that first phase is going to be good. He's really concentrating on scripts, which is something that Marvel doesn't even know exists
Never did.
right now.
Yeah.
They're instead planning on reshoots.
No, speaking of Kevin Feige, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not saying he was a Kathleen Kennedy when the MCU was becoming a thing. But you look at the talent that was on those phases of the first MCU movies, like Louis Leterrier, Jon Favreau, Josh Whedon, Joe Johnston, Kenneth Branagh.
I was going to say, don't forget Branagh. Like, it might not be everyone's favorite, but it is one of the more artistic stars.
I don't know why. That first Thor movie is the most Thor we've gotten ever.
The weird tilt, like the turning the page thing at the end of every scene. It's a little odd, but it was very artistic.
I hate you.
Yeah, it was better than the second one.
Oh, yeah. Dark World is bad times.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The director of Iron Man 3, Shane Black. Oh, my God. He made a piece of shit.
Oh, that was terrible.
It sucks. Again, the script wasn't ready yet again, but it's Shane Black, man. Like, that dude has made some amazing flicks. Like, I absolutely love his. I wish he could have done an amazing one with Robert Downey Jr. again, but Yeah, we got this. But I am kind of excited that they're not using Robert Pattinson as Batman, because you could age him up and then you could do so many things. There's so many cool storylines that they've just never touched.
I'm sorry, guys. I brought the DC page I was going to use. It's supposed to be Kathleen Kennedy. Okay, so let me type in Kathleen Kennedy. It depends on which source you're going to use. I don't want to use someone that's fucking sucking her off, because it's so cringe to see that thing. Okay, so there's...
I mean,
so CNN has a report.
Confirmed it.
Okay, so here, I'll ask you guys which article you want to use, because like I usually use Screen Rant because they usually have a very nice compiled way of bringing all the information together in short bits we can go over as topics. That's one of the main reasons I use them in like CBR and stuff like that. I don't like them, but they do have this balance of the best, the most important, the second most important, the third most important information. That's why I usually use them. Other ones are just like so gay. I like THR, I like Variety.
Right.
Sometimes it's like oof. But here, I'll show you right now. Here's what we're going to look at before we click on an article used for the video. So CNN had this, and then Variety had this. So which one do you guys want to lose?
The Variety one is a love fest. CNN one,
yeah.
The CNN one is sugarcoating, but it's not as much of a love fest.
Think Forbes is better?
One. I haven't read the Forbes one yet.
THR seems to be the most balanced one, from what I heard, and even they can suck her off too. Good lord.
I just
hold on. Is that Paul
Tassi?
Down. Oh fuck no, that was Paul Tassi. Fuck that.
But you love that Paul, dude.
Please leave me alone, Greg.
I remember you calling out his name the other night. Let's go Screen Rant then.
Yeah,
you seem to love them.
That's a good thumbnail too. I can steal that for my videos.
But that isn't entirely her fault.
Oh no, Screen Rant, don't do this to me, man. You guys are better than that. Fuck. Who's this guy? Is he at LG?
Well, I mean, do you think that it was her idea to push everything to Disney Plus, including like everything at Marvel?
I'm just pointing out she's
of Lucasfilms, not of Disney, and I don't think D Plus came around just because of Lucasfilm. So I don't know, man. I understand what they're saying, that it's not entirely her fault. Like if Obi-Wan was a movie, it might not suck, but stretching it out to what, like 6 or 8 hours or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah,
it really sucks.
The guy that was going to do an Obi-Wan movie originally said they told him that they just want to focus on doing a series after Solo bombed at the theaters. And it was like, well, keep in mind, these guys that talk like that, I don't hate them. I don't. But they never say who directly told them it was canceled. They don't say it was a publicist. They don't say if it was an agent. They don't say if it was her herself. They just say someone ended up telling me who. It's important to know who's canceling your shit.
Where I think the blame goes to Kathleen Kennedy a lot is she's essentially the main reason why so many directors quit. She was one always trying to buck the trends. She's the one that had fueled Rian Johnson to create The Last Jedi and to essentially go against everything that J.J. Abrams set up. She's the one that pushed out the Patty Jenkins out of the X-Wing movie. She's the one that got Trevor Morwin out of or Meverwin or whatever his name is from the third of the new trilogy movie. Yeah, she's the one that cost them the director of the Solo movie, and they had to bring in somebody else to finish it.
Rogue One shit, remember?
Her and her group of writers, they were running havoc on essentially everything. So, like, I don't
what you're saying.
Yeah.
So yes, but Disney had a mandate. Okay, they did have a mandate that there has to be a film every 2 years instead of giving it the time. I don't know that she set up those time frames or whatever. Same thing with like setting up. We need to have this many shows on Disney Plus right away. We're launching directly towards them. You're totally right. Like she is the one who went and got Rian Johnson and gave him carte blanche. Okay, you've been painted into this corner. We've got Luke who's on this deserted island. You're handing him the lightsaber and go. And then there was no oversight. No, you must follow these guidelines. That sounds stupid. I'm pretty sure James Gunn isn't going to do that with anyone over there at the DCU. I'm pretty sure he's going to tell them, here's the direction we're going. Here's what marks it has to hit. And then I'm sure he's going to have some quality control. But I don't know, man. She's responsible for a lot, but I just think Disney is a machine and they're looking for product as well. Like I think everything that happened to Marvel also happened to, Lucasfilm. But
I think it was Bob Iger too.
She's to blame for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Bob Iger has to be intertwined in Disney stuff too, because I remember Bob Iger. Remember he had that book that came out back in 2019, 2018, before Infinity War dropped, talking about the Ike Perlmutter situation. I think the reason why this shit went to fucking hell because Ike Perlmutter was not sitting on his knees and fucking having Bob Iger's meat in his mouth. He was telling him, "No, your ideas are stupid." No one tells him that now. He was the only person that was ever like, I fucking hate your ideas. Don't do them. You will lose money. And Bob Iger was like, oh, I'm doing whatever I want. Well, it's like, fucking hell, dude.
Well, in Iger's biography thing, though, he did take a lot of the blame and saying, like, we need to have movies out in this time frame. It has to keep going.
But no, what else did he say? He also said that they liked releasing the Star Wars movies, the yearly thing, like you said, because they liked seeing big numbers opening weekend. That was the exact thing he said. They were only putting them out
and then they killed
because they had big numbers. You know,
and she is responsible for hiring. Now I'm forgetting their names. The Lego movie guys, Lord and whoever, who made it halfway through Solo, and then she finally realized this is not the direction that we're going. So let's bring in Ron Howard. I don't know. It just ended up a weird film. But there's been so many announced, just like Marvel. It's like, okay, so we were going to get a D&D trilogy at some point, the Game of Thrones guys, and that just never happened. I think Taika Waititi was supposed to have
so many.
I can't remember
James
if it was a
Mangold,
trilogy.
Taika Waititi, Ryan Johnson, Kevin Feige had his own one. Fucking hell, there's more. The guy who directed Dark Phoenix, Kinberg's supposed to have his own movie.
Yeah.
The Sharmina Boyd, fat bitch, she's gone now. Patty Jenkins stuff is gone.
Also, I agree with Gray. You said this earlier before I had to take off. I don't think this fixes Disney and Lucasfilm at all. Like, I think it's a cultural thing amongst the CEOs and the whole company. Just like you said, it's affected Marvel too. And Kevin Feige, whether he wants to or not, is essentially getting steamrolled in a lot of this stuff. So I don't think that this fixes anything. I think you'd have to do a top-down redo. Only reason why DCU is going to work is because Warner Brothers has lost so much money, and they're just essentially the point now where they're just like, hey, just make us money, James, please.
Before we go with the video, I want to also point out that Disney's structure was the same structure that Warner Brothers implemented when they merged with Discovery, which was you have presidents of various divisions, and they report to David Zaslav because they're the presidents. They have a very similar structure to Disney. So it's like she is 1-1 with Bob Iger. You had the Bob Chapek period, but that was only for like a year and a half, maybe. It's like she is directly reporting to him. And we know how much Bob is all invested in this, certain people that they want to call marginalized, So their system, literally, they want presidents of the companies to report to them directly with all their ideas. So it's like, how much of it is basically him agreeing with her and letting her take the fall for everything versus like, is it maybe her ideas? And then he goes like, I don't really know, but I'll let you do it because I like you kind of thing. I don't know. Because
I think a lot of it is the whole entire company from top down, Iger on down. None of them would buck the system. So like Kathleen Kennedy's like, okay, I need to get a minority, gender fluid, blah, 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 check marks. And then she takes it to Bob Iger, and Bob Iger's like, oh, thank God, this all meets all of the check marks. Okay, good to go. And she's all like, okay, good to go. Because they're not trying to make money anymore. They're trying to appease this small little vocal group. And it's just costing them billions and billions of dollars.
And it's like, if Kevin, because we know in the Bob Chapek period, they didn't really have like that much power, but what about now after he's gone and before that? It's like, well, if she doesn't have that much power, then why the fuck is she the president anyway? That's even another retarded thing. If they're the president and they can't make decisions, why the hell are they even in charge? But I get it. Not just Bob, like you said, it's executives there and shareholders and Star Wars. There's a lot of investors currently. It's just so much
Star Wars has ruined its reputation so much. How much good and how good is it going to have to be to get people back in seats again? I think that they can come out with an amazing movie and it will underperform because people just don't trust them.
Well, no, next year with Mandalorian and Grogu. Well, no.
They've earned that, though. So I get it. Skeleton Crew isn't for everybody, but man, it is levels above like Acolyte or anything else that they kind of put out recently, and still no viewership whatsoever. Even when there was a little bit of buzz that like, hey, this isn't as bad as Acolyte, just nobody watched it.
That's what I said with the
I think
DC
they've lost
stuff.
all the trust.
Yeah, no, I think that's what I said with the DC stuff. was that when you have consecutive projects not do as good, the other projects that do end up being good, they suffer. It's just how that works, though. Like in TV, for CSI, if a CSI season, if like multiple CSI seasons become trash, the other ones that are better suffer. That happens happens just literally in everything. You get enough bad shit, people just check out. Like you guys said, what's the reason to check out Mandalorian and Grogu if you fucking watch The Acolyte? We know a lot of people watch that. Well,
dude, if you watch season 3 or Book of Boba Fett, why continue? I don't know. It sucks.
I'm not excited for
season 1 and 2 were pretty damn good, but man, they're kind of killing the legacy of all that too.
Time to give you guys a banger. That was just a tease. This is the banger. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Kathleen Kennedy potentially finally stepping down as the president of Lucasfilm. And the reason why I say potentially is because for a lot of you guys that have not been on the internet for most of your life, even from the period that it started blowing up, I know a lot of you guys are on the internet more now because of the whole presidential election and Donald Trump winning. So more of you guys are on Twitter now. But for those of you guys who weren't on Twitter or on the internet spheres of conversations and rumors happening around basically all this nerd stuff, is that rumors of Kathleen Kennedy leaving Lucasfilm have existed basically since like The Force Awakens ended its theatrical run. It would usually be from like scoopers, so random people with little bit of connections in the industry getting like whispers, right? And to be fair to them, information can change all the time by the time they even tell you it exists. I understand that, but it never came from an official big outlet like a Variety, Hollywood Reporter, a Deadline, a Screen Rant, a Forbes, IndieWire, any of that stuff, right? It was always coming from basically random buttfuck nobodies, for being honest here. Now, it's come out recently, very similar to the Luka Donovic and the Anthony Davis situation. It was a report randomly at 10 o'clock in the night. Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down finally. It's like, and this ain't from like a buttfuck nobody scooper. This is from an like actual mainstream media they want you to get your news from. It's like, oh, this is big people reporting on this now. And then the thing with Star Wars, for me, people know my Star Wars story because I've said it in videos before. Never really like actually liked it growing up. I was never that interested. I eventually watched The Last Jedi because my friend had an extra ticket. So I took a date that night to watch it. And yeah, obviously when the movie was over, people clapped, and I was like, who the fuck would clap at this dog shit? It was a terrible fucking movie. And then I went home with her. We had a lot of sex, obviously. I easily destroyed her, made her a bunch of orgasms, obviously. But around 2021, when we had the lockdown period, I chose to just watch all the movies. Original trilogy, prequel trilogy, and I literally watched all the Disney stuff, all the movies. Yes, that means rewatching The Last Jedi, because I told myself, you know what, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it is good. Maybe I was just in a bad mood that day. No, I rewatched it. It is a steaming actual pile of literal trash. So after that, I actually ended up watching Boba Fett season 1. Easily might be one of the worst TV shows ever made. Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out, and I even said it back in the day when on my bigger channel. I said, if this show stinks, I'm done. Because if you can't even do Obi-Wan good, why am I investing the time anymore? Obi-Wan season 1, literally a worthless pile of trash. I'm done. Me personally. Andor comes out. People said it's very good. And then after that, you had like what? The Acolyte come out. People said it was trash.
Ahsoka. You're forgetting Ahsoka, sir.
Rosario Dawson, Black. But yeah, you had Andor, Ahsoka, Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, and all that stuff. And this is the thing with Star Wars. If you told me years ago, because Star Wars is very, very big. It's massive. If you told me that Star Wars would be a dedicated TV series brand on a streaming service, I called you crazy. These should be like event movies at this point. Now at this point, because you had Mandalorian and Grogu be as successful as it is, it's getting its own movie. And this is the thing here at this point. Now when it comes to Star Wars, is if that movie at the end of its box office run, however long it's going to be the box office, because we know these big movies will leave theaters in like, 3 weeks at this point. If that movie fails, that's the state of Star Wars. Either if it does really well, okay, there might still be hope. But if that movie does bad, that's the state of it. Because if there's no interest in Star Wars movies anymore, why make that Rey movie? Because that's all Star Wars can do now. Announce random shit, say random shit gets canceled after a few years. How many people got attached to Star Wars projects? The black guy who was supposed to play Lando in that TV series, Donald Glover, that his name, right? Or Lando something, Lando Calrissian, whatever the fuck. That series is scrapped. Rangers of the New Republic with Gina Carano, scrapped because of political reasons, obviously. You had
Mandalorian. There's a lawsuit still going. She might be reinstated any day now.
Which is good. It's good. I think she deserves it, honestly. You had the Kevin Feige Star Wars movie, axed. Patty Jenkins Star Wars movie, axed. James Mangold might be axed. We also have fucking Simon Kinberg, who directed Dark Phoenix. He got announced he might be getting a movie. Let's be honest here, that's going to get axed. Ryan Johnson's Star Wars trilogy
got axed too.
The Game of Thrones people stuff, they went and I don't watch Game of Thrones, but what I heard was that they basically destroyed Game of Thrones in the last season so they could go and do a Star Wars movie. Their shit never comes out.
Feels like it.
Ryan Johnson,
who knows?
Doesn't come out. You know.
So with the D&D thing, it's hard to tell if those guys are just incompetent, if they don't have an actual script, which I don't know what that would have made their trilogy. We might have been saved a really bad additional trilogy because, Game of Thrones was pretty awesome up until they didn't have source material to pull from. And then it just became so stupid. So I don't know. It could be a good thing, but I don't know. There's so many talented people that were given a chance and just, seem to kind of not be able to work it out. Like again, I forget it's Lord and something. I forget their names, but the dudes who did like the Lego movie, they're the ones who were doing Solo, and they made it halfway through. I can't imagine those guys being. Everything that I've seen come from those guys seems like quality. So I don't know what it was. I never did kind of hear the scoop on why it just was a different way, and Ron Howard had to come in and recorrect the course.
I think a lot of it's interference. I think that they're constantly biting at the scripts, and you hear about like this happened with Kevin Favreau. John Favreau.
Good Lord, who's Kevin?
Book of Boba Fett. But Book of Boba Fett season wasn't even supposed to happen, but they forced him to do it, and then that's why half of it is essentially Mandalorian.
What did the main actor say? He said he felt insanely disappointed on the direction they chose to go with Boba Fett.
I think they go in there and they say, hey, this is problematic. We don't like this. We want you to change that. This doesn't do good with its focus group. And I think that these directors just finally just throw their hands up and like, listen, if you're not going to let me direct, then there's no point in me even doing this garbage.
Captain Kennedy interview saying that, hey, I have a lot of men calling me up to direct and write and produce Star Wars projects, but I'm pretty much just only hiring women. I'm paraphrasing that, but that was something she literally had said. She basically was insanely sexist in her hiring practices, which is against the law. You actually can't do that. I don't know why anyone would just openly say they're sexist in hiring people, but that's kind of what DEI is. Speaking of, let's go on movies first. Movies. I mean, not the actual movie quality, we know that's been pretty much up and down. All the director issues with Rogue One, who was directed by Gareth Edwards, that had a bunch of production issues, trailers and everything, solo production issues. I mean, fucking the Rise of Skywalker production issues that were reportedly, bunch of TV shows that have come out that no one gives a fuck for, apathy for the brand. These weird Disney shills are so, Star Wars is great. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. That's why everyone currently just thinks it's crap. Yeah, it must be really great, right?
So granted, there's a ton of misses, but we haven't mentioned the hit yet. The Force Awakens. It's not my favorite movie, but man, it is like the most successful movie out there. I think it was like 987 US or something like that, 2 billion worldwide. It's still the most, whatever you want to call that. It has made the most money out of anything in the series. It is a huge success, but then you got diminishing returns on each one after that. But you at least got to give her credit for that. It seemed like she was on the right course. That was the main first thing that she did.
Now let's give out the real credit. So I want to understand this when it comes to like movie producing, from at least the little that I've seen throughout director commentary and heard and all that bunch of things I try to listen to when it comes to other people. It's really hard to tell what a producer does. And it's something, I guess the best analogy is a sports analogy, where like when you win, the main star gets all the praise, but if you lose, the main star gets all the fucking criticism, right? We do not know the impact she had on the actual projects that a lot of people bring up for her career. Do you guys really think She told Steven Spielberg what to do on the sets of Jurassic Park, the movie where the giant robot T-Rex malfunctioned and the kids
that's
were
not
legitimately
the
screaming.
role of a producer is not to necessarily tell a director what to do. It's to make what the director's vision happen. And
how much of the impact did she
to be
really
fair,
do,
Spielberg is on record saying that Kathleen Kennedy is the greatest producer of all time. So he seems to like her style of it, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you that, what exactly she did. Kind of the role of producer is generally make shit happen.
I do think he's being nice. Because a lot of people do that, though. They don't there's a lot of people in Hollywood that still have this mindset where, like, I'm just going to say the most appropriate thing. I don't really want to step on anyone's toes. I don't want to be the guy to do that. I mean, he doesn't seem to be like a guy who would lie, but like we know throughout Hollywood's history.
Man, she's got an impeccable record, though. 8
Academy
Awards for Best Picture. You've got E.T., Color Purple, Munich, War Horse, Lincoln.
I bookmarked everything.
Okay, nice.
So, ahead of Kathleen Kennedy's retirement and exit from Lucasfilm, a reminder that she's produced some of the most, a reminder that she's produced some amazing movies over the years. Now, the Star Wars stuff we're going to talk about, so don't count any of the Star Wars stuff. We'll just count the stuff right here. Okay, so we have.
Well, she gets a producer credit in those too, so technically those count. But she wasn't like EP.
We're going to cover the Star Wars stuff in this anyway, so we just have the non-Star Wars stuff over here first. So we have E.T., Poltergeist, Indiana Jones. Is that 4 or 5? No, this is 4.
2. Temple of Doom.
2. Okay, so you have E.T., Poltergeist, Indiana Jones 2, Gremlins, The Goonies, Back to the Future trilogy, The Color Purple, An American Tail, Empire of the Sun, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's Taika Waititi's movie.
Oh yeah.
Land Before. No way she produced one of the best animated movies ever made, The Land Before Time. No way. Fuck.
She did multiple. I'm sorry, An American Tale, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Land Before Time. They're all amazing. And Cape Fear, come on, man. That's one of the best De Niro performances.
I do believe
best
in
Hoffman
fairies.
Performance.
I do believe in fairies. What? No way, man.
She does have a great resume.
This is a great Schindler's List, Twister, The Sixth Sense. No way. I'm calling bullshit. M. Night Shyamalan, we know, takes over his movies. No way, man. Have you seen an M. Night Shyamalan movie? He has full control of those.
A producer doesn't always have a lot of influence. Now, if you look back at like any film that had Jerry Bruckheimer as a producer, all looks the same. So Jerry Bruckheimer has a lot of influence over direction of a film that he's doing. But then there's other films, like you're not going to tell Spielberg what to do. So I think Kathleen Kennedy had different variations of power depending on where she was at in her career and also the situation. She had a lot more throw over the Star Wars stuff than she did over like the Jurassic Park trilogy.
That's the point I was going to bring up later on for the Star Wars stuff, because it kind of goes against what a lot of people are saying on Twitter. But we'll get to that in just a moment. I'm going to hold that thought. Signs, Biscuit.
Sorry, one
Munich,
thing to add in there, like producer
ahead.
Isn't necessarily supposed to like make any changes in the actual thing. It's really just financing. A lot of the times it's securing financing for this, making sure that everything is kind of running smoothly. And apparently she was great at that. So hell yeah.
But does that mean she gets credit on all these movies as far as like how good they came out though?
Well, she's part of the system.
Kevin Smith, he's got his buddy Scott Mosier who helped him and produced like all of his original films. He's saying like he couldn't have made those without him. Like he really did make it so that he just got to focus on the actual art. I think it's probably along those lines. There's a reason why Spielberg kept going back to her. She kept getting the job done, and he says that she's the best. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's anything to scoff at.
I think it's when you mention producer, it's like how much influence of producing did she have to the point where these all turned out the way they did? Like, if she wasn't there, would those still have been as good? It's like that
she's
kind of
acting as a block and making sure Spielberg has everything he needs. Then his true vision comes out. That she should get a lot of credit for that. If she was bigger than the director, like in some of the stuff later in her career, maybe she started throwing around a little bit more when it came to creative wise. But if she's helping Spielberg get that there, and she's also keeping people see the big money guys off his back and let him create, then she should get a huge amount of credit for that.
That's what I wanted to tie the other point to.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to tie your point into earlier, is that, okay, so if we use the logic that she produced a lot of these and they turn out the way they did because of her, then that means that when she was the president of Lucasfilm, we should be able to extend that line of logic here too, because that's all on her then. If she was the president, she went from being a producer to all these projects to a president, which has way more power to impact how the project will look. That's the thing too, you know? So it's like, okay, she did all those great. Fine too.
The other thing that you're not giving her credit for is she was also George Lucas's producer, and he is the one who handpicked her as the replacement. He said, "I trust her to take on the legacy of this,"
and then she
which means a lot, man.
In the back.
Yes, very much so. She took his treatment that he had for the next sequel trilogy and just completely threw it down the disposal or shredder, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But yeah, none of that was used. She just went her own route and gave J.J. Abrams kind of carte blanche as well.
I want to bring that up from what you said. Him handpicking her, I do know about that. I saw the interview that he had. People have to understand when it comes to like figures like Steven Spielberg or George Lucas, they can make bad decisions. Not everything they think, not everything they do as far as a decision can be the best thing, because as we've seen now, she wasn't the best pick for Star Wars, given what has happened. Not even close. I think it's because when people work with someone so closely, they genuinely think they're very good at various things. Like, she might have been a great producer on something, but being a president is an entirely different thing than just being a side piece to a much more greater personality. You know, it's a much more different field there too.
And that's a good point.
If that's
well,
I don't know if side piece to a greater personality is the best explanation of it. But
my God.
Moving on, I'm sure Warren has something intelligent to say.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Well, if you notice, like she took over Lucasfilm, and when she did that over, like you said, that's a different role. And I think what happens is before she's part of a cog of a system, so she's part of the process. And then she becomes in charge of the process by taking over Lucasfilm, and then now you see. All of a sudden, why is it that all of the stuff from Force Awakens down is massively different in quality than the stuff from Force Awakens up?
That's what I was going to bring up.
I think that's because now she has more control. So now you get to see her saying, well, I really like the way you managed George, but now it's my store and I'm going to change what we're doing, and I'm going to move the way I want to, and I have my ideas that weren't listened to, and now she has that more reins. And I think that's, you notice, I think the big change of quality is from when she gets that control. Now she's not being kept in check, and now she gets to do.
That's what I was going to bring up to your point, which is, I meant this point is a double-edged sword. I will fully agree with that. It feels like she kind of was a key in the cog to something rather than the actual star of it. So like when, there's a star player on a good sports team, and when that player leaves, that franchise just basically sucks without them. So like, that's what I'm trying to bring up. It's like, okay, if she now is a chance to be the star player, well, all of this is hers. Every single one of that is hers. She's the star player of that. But then she gets to be but then she gets all the credit for all of these when there was much more talented people there,
No, she's either a producer or executive producer on it. Nobody's giving her director credit. Like, most of it's going to Spielberg, most of it's going to Lucas, but she did her part in those enough that she kept getting hired back because they said that she was the best at that. But as Warren keeps mentioning, that doesn't mean that just because you're good at procuring like funding.
I said that first, you liar! I
tune out when you talk. It's just a matter of principle. But what I'm saying is like it doesn't necessarily translate. And everyone's talking about either Filoni or Favreau as kind of the next one that they want. I don't know, man. That sounds like a really bad choice to me. Just because these dudes are really good at, just because Favreau is really good at directing and he has creative vision doesn't mean he's going to be good at running the studio.
Yeah, that's going to be Feige.
It kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I think it's Feige myself. I think Feige's going to be taking on a Marvel, and they're going to move it. This is just me guessing, right? This is me playing fantasy football. Feige, the Lucasfilm, Russo brothers take over MCU. I think they're going to try to pull what DC did with James Gunn, and they're going to have the Russo brothers, probably arguably the most successful directors in the MCU first run. I think they'll have them take it over creatively, control, and then let Feige go to Lucasfilm. But that's just me guessing.
Good Lord. Yeah, I would say the same thing is, maybe getting someone that people have not heard of is a good idea. But that's the thing is, as we mentioned before, her resume is very big, but I think there's a lot of nuance that needs to be applied to this resume as far as like, oh, well, she was just there, so that automatically means that she was the reason why it came out true. It's like, oh my fucking God, you people have little brains. Not you guys, but good. You people on Twitter are fucking beyond retarded.
Could you imagine taking on that job, like you're just going to be getting hate no matter what. Like if it's not up to snuff, if you're just going the same way that it's been going, my God, it's just going to be endless hate.
I wouldn't want it.
I think either Favreau or Filoni would be an idiot. They'd be an MSK if they wanted to
wait a minute.
continue
We're not
that.
forgetting
If they want that
greatest
promotion, not only would they be taking a pay cut, because apparently Favreau makes so much more as like a hired gun filmmaker, but man, you'd be taking that pay cut and then all that hate. Like, he made the live action Lion King. I don't hear anybody coming after him and being like, this is so stupid, this is horrible, where nobody seems to like that movie. Or was it Jungle Book? I think he did both of them. Now I'm tripping. But
he did Lion King.
Either way.
No, the black guy. He's the black guy who did Lion King. Jungle Fever, you're right. Jungle Book was his.
Okay. But anyway, they're not that great of movies, but I don't see people just going after him like he has ruined the Lion King or anything like that.
Stop it. You're doing that thing where people go, but what about this guy? We're talking about her, you bastard. You're doing that
thing.
He
is one of the names that's being thrown around as people want him to replace her. I don't think there's any shot at hell.
I don't agree with you, but it's like
there's no upside for it.
No, there's no upside for him to do that. I mean, unless they're going to give him 100% control, and Disney's not going to do that. I mean, you're essentially walking to a job where you're going to be handcuffed right off the bat, blindfolded, and then told to make a miracle out of a dumpster fire that no one has any faith in. So it's like, even if they were perfect, they're going to still probably fail for the first 3 or 4 movies. You know.
And before we go over Kathleen Kennedy's mixed legacy, well, I wouldn't say mixed, I think it's pretty much all bad, but this is the thing, is people have said that she's become a lightning rod for criticism, but that's the thing. That's the position that you get. In the NFL, I forgot the commissioner's name. Fucking hell, I'm blanking on it right now. Or the NBA commissioner, I'm forgetting their names. Whenever the NBA and NFL suck, the commissioners get all the blame. That is the purpose of the job. You are supposed to be a lightning rod. That is literally what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to tank criticism. You're also supposed to tank the praise you get. That's just literally what the job is. Now, we're at the point where let's just hypothetically say that we were all wrong with these, right? Let's hypothetically say we were all wrong and maybe she is staying. It doesn't matter if she's staying or if she's leaving. Damage is already done, like you guys said earlier in the video. Because if she's gone, like I said before, who replaces her? That person just might even be worse than her, which is saying something. That would be actually bad. It was actually terrible, But the other thing to bring up is you keep her, it's not getting better. You kind of just at a lose-lose. But I agree with you guys. You might as well flip a coin, try someone else new. I'd rather try someone new, see how that goes, and just keep on the same death spiral it's currently in right now. So right now, this isn't a death spiral. People saw the Skeleton Crew ratings, this trash. Not saying the show. People are just not interested in watching it currently. Must be a reason for that.
I think the only way you save Star Wars is you bring in somebody new and that creates buzz, and then you let them retcon everything. Like, stop everything you're doing. We're going to start over again, and we're going to essentially do what the DCU did, where it's like, well, we're going to release the films that we got going right now, but then we're going to retcon everything.
I agree.
In order to get the faith back, you need a new restaurant name, you need a new menu, you need a new paint job. You just can't bring in a new manager and then expect them to turn the dumpster fire into gourmet again. So I think you need to do a complete entire reset of the whole Star Wars universe right now.
Oh, that would be so hilarious. Just the first shot is just Luke like waking up from a nightmare. Like,
that would be great. Yeah.
That would be great.
No, I do agree that you should take a break. The reason why I was bringing up the whole point is because, there's different, I would say, criteria, and there's different ways people talk about other people compared to like other people. That's why I was bringing up the Kathleen Kennedy, Jon Favreau example, because like it's not exactly a one-on-one comparison. Like I would compare Kathleen Kennedy to someone like we said Kevin Feige. That's a comparison. Or if like, well, if he does good things, he gets praised. When he does bad things, he gets shitted on. Well, it's like it's pretty much the same. Jon Favreau is a weird one because he's not exactly a president of anything. It would be like the previous president of DC, Jeff Johns. Was the president of DC. Well, yeah, he should get all the blame for all that because he wanted the universe to look like that initially, from the Jeff Johns, the Zack Snyder storyboards, and all that shit. Like John Lasseter got all the praise for Pixar. Well, when Pixar's gone, well, it kind of sucks now. But let's dive into some of this history, guys. Kathleen Kennedy leaves Lucasfilm with a mixed legacy, but that isn't entirely her fault. Oh, who yeah, who fucking fault is it then?
We've been over this. She didn't decide to make the parks all that way.
It's your fault.
She didn't decide to make Disney Plus the focus. That has to come from up high. So I agree. It's not all her fault. She has to take the majority of the blame. She's the one who signed off on the projects.
Yeah.
No. I didn't blame her for the parks. I do think that's not her thing. The parks can't in any way be shaped by her ideas. No way. Not even.
Oh no. She's in charge of like
Film
doing massive reshoots of Rise of Skywalker due to what focus groups and malls said. So that way the movie now looks like a jigsaw puzzle. That's on her. She's not in charge of like
how
Disney Plus focus or the park looks, or I don't even think she's in charge of the stupid. We're going to do a 20-minute episode and then a 15-minute episode, and then we're going to do a 30-minute one. I don't even think she's in charge of that. I think it's just more along the lines of production, like production creative decisions is where I think more of her blame falls on. But with the other stuff, no, she had nothing to do with Disney Plus. That was probably something that she got emailed to her, you know.
Sorry about that. I wanted to message my wife.
No, you had to write coffee and waste of money in the chat. No, that makes sense.
Okay. I was messaging my wife, but no, all jokes aside, I think it's one of these things now where it's like, we'll just see where it goes, honestly, with Kathleen Kennedy. But she's in, from what I know about her job description, it's film and TV and animation as far as that. So parts doesn't matter.
I'm just putting it out there that, it seemed like a mandate from up high that, hey, theaters are dead now after the whole time that we can't talk about. So instead, we're putting all of our focus into the #1 streaming platform ever. It's going to catch fire. It's going to have Marvel. It's going to have Star Wars. Everything's going directly to there.
Yeah.
Well, let's start digging into her legacy. And people said, MSK, would you have sex with Kathleen Kennedy? Guys, I have no standards. I had sex with anything but a black woman, honestly. So bring it on, bitch. I love older women. And hopefully she shaves her fucking hairy ass stank coochie that she has. She probably doesn't wash at all. She's too busy stanking up Star Wars. But nevertheless, Kathleen Kennedy is reportedly retiring at the end of the year as she leaves behind her a mixed legacy for Lucasfilm and Star Wars. Star Wars fans awoke today to a great disturbance in the Force. Reports that Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy is retiring at the end of the year. George Lucas' chosen successor, Kennedy, had served as something of a lightning rod for criticism of the Disney era. Now, I want to keep in mind here, this guy had a lot of really great ideas himself, a lot of really shitty ones. Those prequel movies are not, outside of episode 3, I like episode 3. Episode 1 and 2 are just not good. This guy literally is a emotionally stable weirdo, honestly. I couldn't imagine this guy making good decisions in a lot of other ways. He made a lot of bad decisions. Remember, he got full creative control.
You're also missing some of his other misses. You're forgetting about the holiday special. You're missing the 2 Ewoks movies.
Not remember that. I was not.
They're easy to forget.
I'm saying people have really, really talked badly about George Lucas's overall decision making for a long time. She'd found herself frequently targeted by online campaigns, YouTubers, and even South Park. Oh yeah, you mean this guy right there? South Park?
What?
That guy? You mean make it lame and gay? I want to say this, though. Targeted is kind of a gay way of basically, hey, I'm just criticizing her. I'm not wishing her death. I'm not sending her death threats. I just don't like the fucking way the franchise is going. So I wouldn't really call that targeted hate. That sounds kind of gay, in my opinion. Oh my God, they criticized an executive. Oh, fuck off.
It's also kind of her fault because she put herself out there constantly in interviews. The Force is female, all that woke warrior bullshit. And it's like you put yourself out there and then you isolated an entire fan base with what you said and your directors said. So yeah, you're going to get some hate online when it all just turns to shit. I mean, you put yourself out there as the figurehead. That's what happens.
Forces, like, there's things that she literally did to fan the flames, as it's not some innocent fucking person. Keep in mind, this is the same bitch talking about that she loves women. How she treated Patty Jenkins like shit. She literally treated Patty Jenkins like straight up shit. Had her leave Warner Brothers to do a Rogue Squadron
so did Marvel, though.
Marvel, Patty Jenkins. Yo, yeah, the whole Thor situation. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But she had her come over to Disney to do Rogue Squadron, and then we found out through a twit longer that she isn't getting the movie. What the fuck did you come over for?
And her movie sounded badass too. It was like a World War II fighter jet movie.
I'm just saying it right now. Patty Jenkins, I like older. Man, she's looking pretty fire, honestly. But nevertheless, all that makes it rather difficult to establish Kennedy's true legacy. Has her tenure been a successful one? Is she some kind of woke warrior? That's what Warren said. Responsible for pushing a political agenda at Lucasfilm? The force is female. She said she wanted to hire more women than dudes. Just point it out there. These are her words, not mine. The truth is probably rather more complex than her detractors on those aforementioned YouTube channels think. We know who they're talking about. Like, just say names, you punk ass bitch. You fucking loser. Oh my God. Someone criticized a woman. Oh no. The world must be ending. Shut up. You fucking loser.
They did like Mary Sue Skywalker.
Yeah, you fucking cuck. I bet you love it when your fucking wife sits there and gets railed by a 6 feet tall, big BBC black dude. You fucking loser. Oh my God. Woman got criticized. I must defend her. Shut up. Fucking losers, man. Kathleen Kennedy wasn't Disney's choice. She was Lucas's. He brought her into the role shortly before selling Lucasfilm to Disney and attempt to control his legacy, as Disney CEO Bob Iger recalled in his autobiography, The Ride of a Lifetime. And good Lord, here's just a giant ass quote. A few months before we closed the deal, George hired the producer Kathleen Kennedy to run Lucasfilm. Kathy had co-founded Amblin Entertainment along with her husband Frank Marshall and Steven Spielberg, and had produced E.T. and the Jurassic Park franchise and dozens of critical and commercial hits. It was an interesting move on George's part. We were on the verge of buying the company, but he suddenly decided who was going to run it and ultimately produce the upcoming films. It didn't upset us, but it did come as a surprise, just as it surprised Kathy to learn that the company she was agreeing to run was about to be sold. Kathy is a legendary producer, and she has been a great partner, and this was one final way for George to put someone in whom he trusted to be the steward of his legacy. Oh, good old Bob Iger, always sucking off.
She set it on fire.
Oh, fuck, man. Good Lord. But Kennedy faced an unbelievable challenge, one that we tend to underestimate. As Iger noted, Lucas had many talented employees, particularly on the tech side, but no directors other than George and no film development or production pipeline. Yeah, because you literally just bought it. He just wanted to sell it to you. He didn't give a fuck what you did, honestly. Kennedy essentially had to build a studio from the ground up, which likely explains the many Star Wars movies and TV shows that were canceled due to creative differences. Okay, so a president doing presidential shit, building stuff up. That's what. Whatever.
The creative differences right there is essentially code.
Had nothing with her creating the building or whatever she was doing for Lucasfilm. People left because of creative differences.
Creative differences is telling Patty Jenkins you can't make the movie that she wants to make, and then she leaves. Or telling the guys that was doing the solo movie, hey, we want you to change this, and then they leave. That's what creative differences is tell them, it's like, hey, make this character gay. And they're like, no, I don't want to. And then they're like, okay, and then leave.
You know, Kathleen Kennedy loves females so much. She loves gay people. I mean, keep in mind, this wasn't her fault. I won't blame her. She casted all these women, all these marginalized people. Then Disney canceled The Acolyte. I thought Disney loved LGBTQ people and black people. That's what they told us. They love them. But you just made a bunch of them unemployed.
They do love them, but they don't like spending $200 million and not making any of it back.
That wasn't Kathleen Kennedy. That was her and who's her name? Leslie Headland that was running the show. Yeah, they hired the marginalized people. Disney just said, fuck them, because Disney doesn't give a fuck about morals, people. They're just telling you what you want to hear, like what all these guys are going to do. Those first 2 years were no doubt very difficult. Disney needed to recoup costs, leading to an ambitious push to release 3 movies by the end of 2018. That's what Grace said earlier in the video.
Certainly pushed them out.
They did. Kennedy more than pulled it off, I guess not quality-wise, but the accounts of behind-the-scenes drama on Rogue One and Solo are legendary. The studio moved away from the big screen from 2019 and seemed to have learned some important lessons. The Mandalorian and Grogu were released next year, and production there appears to have been smooth. Oh, okay. 1 out of 7 is not really a good record, but sure.
Well, it's smooth now because Dave Filoni is running Star Wars, and Kathleen Kennedy is probably getting ready to retire. So she's not interfering with anything anymore. So it's probably going a lot smoother now because Favreau is just allowed to direct.
I was going to say, Favreau needs to get a whole bunch of credit for that, too. Like, that dude can roll with the punches. It's what he did on Marvel. Like, Iron Man, supposedly, they were, like, having actual meetings, like, the day of shooting, coming up with dialogue and everything. He's used to making some really amazing things with very little prep and kind of coming up with something amazing and artistic on the spot. And just, man, there's some episodes of Mandalorian that just go so hard. Yeah, that dude deserves a lot of credit. So I'm not surprised that his, movie, we're currently not hearing any sort of issues like they had with the Lego guys or Gareth. Now I'm forgetting his name for Rogue One, but still, for as many problems as Rogue One had, it's a really watchable film. And then for it to spin off to Andor, just, man, so amazing.
Gareth Edwards, he directed that Godzilla movie in 2014. He has a decent little resume to himself. It was crazy. That one came out pretty good. Rogue One, stuff. I've already alluded to the fact that Kennedy often found herself operating under constraints imposed by Disney. Okay, let's just use the argument you guys are using. So does every other president. Kevin Feige, Jeff Johns, guy who's running Paramount. This is literally just not just a her thing that exists for presidents of companies. Okay, so I want to make sure I point that out. The person that was originally running Netflix had problems here and there. The House of Mouse had spent $4.5 billion acquiring Lucasfilm, which we know now they still have not recouped the money back from. That was reported by one of their trades.
They got $2 billion off of that first one. It looked like they were on track.
And then you know what Mickey Mouse said? This is trending in the right direction as we lose money with each one. There was a meme that I saw. Hey, this is trending in the right direction. Oh, fuck, that killed me. I actually laughed out like, holy fuck.
What's crazy is that if you told me that someone was going to purchase Lucasfilm for $4.5 billion, I'd be like, yeah, it shouldn't be that hard to make that back in the first 3 years. But because of just how popular Star Wars was, especially at that time period. But they fucked it up so bad. It's like you guys took a $10-20 billion investment, or what could have been
lucrative toy line.
Huge
toy line was making so much money,
printing money, and they just ran it down into the dirt. Where even when they have a good show, no one watches it. It's amazing. Like they should study this shit in film school.
I think they have to, right? Yeah. Like, it's just crazy. But like that first one, it's not great, but it is the highest grossing film, like I believe, still of all time.
I know. With The Force Awakens, right? To be fair, I will.
Yeah, Force Awakens.
That requires some nuance.
Wasn't the greatest film. It felt very much like a retread. It was very similar ground. Yeah, but man, the fans were starving for something, and they ate it up. Even with the weirdness and the whole getting rid of legacy characters thing. Man, just why couldn't they have a plan?
Yeah, that's what I was going to add to your point, which is that's the only reason why that movie made that much money. It was because it was good. That movie is pretty bad in a lot of areas. There hadn't been a Star Wars movie in like fucking almost 10, 15 years. They were going to watch it regardless. That was going to make that money regardless, given how long there had been a gap between Revenge of the Sith and Force Awakens. It was guaranteed money,
And so it was a safe film. It was a safe, fun film. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but now, in hindsight, it was one of the better ones that they've put out.
They did kill off Han Solo, but it's okay. And there needed to be a return on that investment. In 2018, there have been reports Kennedy petitioned Disney to push back Solo to December, believing the movie wasn't ready. That one I'll put on Bob Iger, because he had said in that same book, from that same interview up there, he wanted to release the movies because he liked seeing how big the numbers were at the box office. Okay, I will give her maybe Solo she wanted to push back. And as people say, she was overruled, and Solo became Star Wars' first box office flop. Yeah, that's still the lowest grossing Star Wars film. Crazy, right? Not particularly a terrible movie, but it's just someone needed. I like some things in it. Yeah, it's like Brave New World. It's not terribly bad, but it's not good either. It's just really meh,
Yeah. It's just weird. Like, I don't know, for all these amazing things, like the dice, like his actual name, like the Kessel Run, all these things that you could have actually done and actually made something amazing. Just, man, they fumbled on every single thing. And I don't know if that's from the Lord. I really should look up the dude's name. I don't know if it's from the Lego guys or from, Ron Howard, but either way, it sucks. Whatever came together, it just seems like you're undercutting all these legacies, these things that have been set up, and just, man, it ended up not being a great film, even though it's kind of an okay adventure, like side quest movie, but man, just shitting on the legacy. I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. I don't ever really want to see Solo again.
Overshadowed by Infinity War and poorly marketed because Disney thought the franchise couldn't fail. First of all, Solo was not poorly marketed. Solo had great marketing. Everyone knew it was coming out. They just didn't watch it because The Last Jedi, the movie before it, made people literally want to commit suicide in Minecraft, allegedly said by a guy named MSK on his YouTube channel. They made people want to get close to a bridge and jump off. That's the reason. It's part of the reason why Solo flopped. Also, no one wanted a Solo fucking prequel movie. No one wanted that. Stop making shit people don't want. Stop listening to random.
It could be cool, man. I love me some Lando. I love me some Han Solo. And hey, throw in like him meeting Chewie. This could be cool, but the way that it all came together was not.
Yeah.
Fast forward to Disney Investor Day 2020. Remember that? Ton of announced things that never came out. And Lucasfilm announced an overly ambitious slate of movies and TV shows to come out over the next few years. This announcement should have been prophetic, but it is remembered mostly because of so much that did not happen. But again, this wasn't Kennedy's fault. Iger's replacement, Bob Chapek, is believed to have pushed Lucasfilm to make premature announcements. Okay, that could be Hitter, that could be both of them. Chapek wanted to push Disney Plus, but that was Bob Iger too. Before Bob Iger left, he wanted to push out Disney Plus. That's
I'm just saying. Think of the Marvel releases that were also all announced. It seems like it was Disney's push to announce these things, get some hype going.
At least most of those came out. At least, more of those came out than Star Wars one.
Blade?
I see your point. Yeah. No, Blade was 2019 Comic-Con, remember? Investor Day, they announced Fantastic Four, which was directed by John Watts, the Spider-Man guy, but later on it was someone else. It was Fantastic Four, Loki, Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Miss Marvel, and fucking hell. They announced War Machine, that movie, Armor Wars, and they announced another one that got canceled, the Okoye series. So all that stuff ended up getting scrapped, just like my sex life with my female love interest. Even the push to make Star Wars TV shows came from a corporate mandate. Disney Plus was a priority for the House of Mouse, and every Disney studio was expected to prioritize making original content that would ensure the streamer was a success. But that's not a bad idea, though. I would understand why they would want that. I would agree with that. You need to make original shit that people want to go and see. That's the attraction of a streaming service. It's like, okay, you have your legacy movies and TV shows, but if you need to have something that's yours, that's what attracts the average person. Okay, well, Disney has the Star Wars content that's original that we haven't seen. I don't necessarily disagree with that. They make them do that. It's a fine idea.
I just think it was a horrible plan, and I don't think she is to blame for that plan. But like they even had like the Mulan remake, and
oh god,
there were like two of them that had to be. There's two of them that had to be dropped directly on Disney Plus because of the time or whatever. Yeah. So I don't know. I think they should have looked at that and been like, oh yeah, like Netflix still isn't profitable. How are we thinking that we're going to bring this up in like a year, 2 years? I don't know. I guess they wanted to shift because theaters were down, but I don't know, man. I think the choice of Disney Plus was
because remember around that time there was a streamer wars. Remember HBO Max had just came out. Apple TV Plus had launched. Around that time period, there was a lot of like streamer war bullshit things. Paramount Plus came out
theaters,
about a year later.
They thought they were going the way of the dodo, man. Like they thought theaters were just going.
Yeah. No, it's
they should have kept it smaller in scope. Like if you're gonna do a bunch of Star Wars series and then do some big movies, you need to like really lower the scope down, get the budget in order, and have a plan before you go into it. Because when you rush is when you have massive reshoots, changing directors, all this stuff, and all that does is just add more money and time onto it to where
keep in mind, production blows up. Got actually massively so huge for these streaming services. Like you're spending almost basically movie budget money on a streaming service.
Yeah, like
the Acolyte did
the Halo one. It had so many reshoots.
Yeah,
and it was like $200 million when it was all done, and it was garbage. It's
that
like
sucks.
Yeah, they
I watched season 1. I wanted to hang myself. that season one was so bad. I faked myself beating off in that clip everyone keeps seeing. It was that bad. My brain fried.
Sure, you faked it. We believe you.
You know, you could lower the scope of this stuff. Like Obi-Wan could have been just a film about Obi-Wan running from Vader.
It was originally a film. It was originally a film.
Like
after
Vader
Solo
gets
bombed, they wanted it to be a show.
You could film the whole thing on one ship that Obi-Wan's trying to lead Vader away from where Luke is, and you could do the whole series about them two, and you could keep it in one nice set and do a lot less money. Instead, you've got to try to build up other series. You got to add in all these extra characters. You got to try to do all this bullshit, and then it gets overinflated. It doesn't come out very good, and then you spend a bunch of money, and people are like, "What's going on here? Why is it that Peacemaker is for like less than 100 million? A good series. It looks great. It works in the series. It works in the world, and it works for the service. But yet, you guys are trying to make these blockbusters. They're all over the place timing wise. None of the characters get any kind of cooking time, and it just seems like a big waste of money. The whole thing was just terribly mismanaged all the way through. And maybe that's not all her fault because she's being pushed. She was being like sped up. It's like she had too many things going on and was being forced to get all this stuff done.
Women aren't good at their job.
Don't even do no.
Oh, dang it.
All the
Mandalorian. Kennedy greenlit The Mandalorian, a prudent choice, and reverse engineered several film pitches, turning them into shows. And the reason why I mentioned the Obi-Wan thing when Warren was going off is because I think there was reports out there that said she had felt like after Solo bombed that people weren't interested in watching Star Wars movies related around one character. And it's like people just didn't want to see a Solo movie that's a prequel. That's the thing. Some characters can hold their own.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I don't know. I've just been calling them the Lego guys. But those dudes. They're the ones who were originally doing Solo and got left halfway through it. I have to think that Solo movie would have been pretty decent. I haven't seen anything horrible from those guys, but maybe there's a chance.
Disney's corporate mandates make it very hard to say for certain what Kennedy's legacy really is. Yeah, but then by that logic, then someone else could have gave her the idea for The Mandalorian or an executive, but who knows, right? How many of those mistakes were her fault? But it doesn't absolve her of overall responsibility for the state of the franchise. I agree. But that is what it seems to be the boss. Most importantly, the cultural issues at Lucasfilm, issues that led to so many cases of creative conflict, were recurring. Lucasfilm allowed Phil Lord and Chris Miller far too much independence during production of Solo, for example, stepping in and firing them far too late in the day when Kennedy lost confidence in them. Okay. So I guess she just takes the fall for that. It's good Lord. Good job, Kathleen. You fucking.
But then you've got other things that are objectively worse, like The Acolyte. It's so there's some very things in there. There's some firsts that we got in there, but man, if you're gonna get on Phil Lord and Chris Miller for dropping the ball, like, come on, like, are you not going to get on Leslie Headland's back and say, hey, this thing is all hinging on this mystery, and it doesn't pay off, it doesn't make sense. It retroactively ruins anything good that the series did.
No, you're right.
I think that she would have stepped in on that, seeing as how it's the most expensive show.
No, I wanted to ask you, do you remember, did she hire Leslie Headland to produce the show? I'm pretty sure she did.
I'm pretty sure she did as well. I know she is the one who gives the offers. From everything that I've heard with Ryan Johnson, like, she literally had a meeting with him. He never like pitched to her or anything like that. She just called for a meeting and is like, okay, I want to give you TLJ. So from what I understand, she just kind of calls meetings with people and just offers them thing. I think that's what happened with the D&D from Game of Thrones. I think that's what happened with Phil Lord and Chris Miller. From what I understand, she basically just like gets a meeting with these people and then, just kind of randomly gives them this project. And I think her move is to be hands off. I think that was kind of what she did as a producer. It was securing funding for it and making sure that everything has a timeline and is good to go.
Basically,
it sounds like that's a lot of what she was doing here.
Oh, God. And that, unfortunately, brings me to The Acolyte, Leslie Headland's High Republic TV show appeared to be seen as something of a reset point for Star Wars. Jesus Christ. No one thought that. That's just you people thought that. Who watched that trailer and went, yeah, this is going to be good? I watched the trailer and I went, that looks bad.
I originally thought this was going to be like so far in the past that it wasn't going to really connect.
That's what it was pitched.
But instead they made it like they essentially made it just like just before Palpatine comes into the scene era. Like so it's like, which is another stupid choice. It's like, what if you have an entire thousands of years of lore to do stuff in where you don't have to worry about any lore Nazis going nuts? Then why are you trying to retcon the original trilogy?
Oh, that's
all this bullshit. Why is it that,
especially?
Go ahead.
Just seeing the Jedi at their height, like when they were the most powerful. Like, my God, that sounds awesome to me. And then, what we were promised is not what we got. It was supposed to be taking a look at the Sith from somebody who's being an acolyte to the Sith. They're actually being recruited into this. That sounds like an awesome show to me, but that's not what we got. Instead, we got everything that hinged on this mystery, and the payoff on it was really horrible. It didn't make any sense. But there's potential there. And then you're bringing in certain elements like, okay, so we've never seen the High Republic before. We've never seen like a Kyber crystal bleed. There's a bunch of different things that got brought into this. Also, a bunch of the characters we had never seen. Now I'm forgetting the element, but the helmet of the dude. Now I'm totally blanking on the substance, but shorting out sabers and stuff.
Yeah, the Kyber crystal repellent stuff. Yeah.
A bunch of this stuff is cool, and it could have been done well. And this is the first time that we're seeing it now in canon since they got rid of all the extended stuff. But man, just what we end up with is not great. And for that price, you would have hoped that she would have stepped in at some point. But no, apparently just the Lego guys get the step in, not Leslie.
Well, I think that's where the culture part comes in that they were mentioned earlier in the article. I think she picks Leslie Headland, and Leslie Headland is doing exactly what she wants when it comes to the political agenda stuff along those lines. I think the other guys are just making a solo movie.
I think,
and then when she comes in, she's like, okay, well, this is not fitting our agenda. I've already heard that she has like a team of 20 writers that are involved with all of the projects. She probably heard about that, and then that's why she shit cans them. With Leslie Headland, it's like, I trust Leslie. We're on the same page. She knows what I want. Make it gay, make it female. Let's do this shit. And then, so they just let her go, and then they put the film out or the series out. And when it tanks, they just blame us.
And granted, Leslie Headland knew her shit. Like, she knew about cortosis. I couldn't think of the name of the element, but that stuff. Like, she knew how to reference this. She knew of Vernestra. Is it Rowe? I forget what the character's name is. But like, she knew of all these things, and she's deciding to bring them in. Just the execution of it is horrible. I don't know.
Yeah, you rewind it 100 more years and disconnect it from the prequel trilogy, and I think you have a much more successful series. I think when you're trying to swim in that much canon, you should just separate yourself and give us something in between that can do good, but we don't have to worry about Jedi Council members showing up and knowing about the Acolyte and a possible Sith user. We don't have to bring in Yoda, and where he's already apparently a master. And then, like, why in the hell did he feel like 15 Jedis being killed? There's a lot of stuff going on in this thing where it's just like you're tap dancing on a minefield, getting that close to canon. Yep. Just back up. Go back and just separate so much, and you can do your own thing. Create new canon,
It's not exactly what you're saying, but Skeleton Crew kind of did that. It feels like it's very disconnected. There is kind of one through line that does kind of connect it to everything else, but I don't hate that. It does seem like it's its own world. If it never goes back to this thing, cool. It was a decent one-off thing, and if you hated it, cool. It doesn't really affect everything else. It would have been really nice if it was that, but no, bringing in Yoda at the end, that just nail in the coffin.
It's like that cheap fan service thing. It's like, oh, hey, you like that guy? Good fucking god.
Well, they should. I would just fast forward everything too.
Introducing viewers to an ongoing adventure set in a whole new part of the timeline. It didn't pay off, instead resulting in a fierce online backlash a review bombing campaign, and disappointing viewership. Good Lord, all the fucking God, Jesus Christ. The Acolyte was canceled, the first Star Wars TV show to officially meet that fate. It left an already divided fan base shattered and exhausted. Skeleton Crew has helped. I don't know what the fuck that word is. Like, I don't know what the fuck these words are these days.
Ameliorate, dude. You have brought Great Dinosaur to this channel.
Okay, I love I'm joking, guys. Entertainment. But Skeleton Crew has helped, but Kennedy nonetheless leaves under a fresh cloud. Good Lord. So this is the thing here. Is the reason why Leslie Headland, guys, got a chance to do what she wanted was because Kathleen Kennedy literally said fucking Force is female. She likes hiring women more than dudes. She wasn't going to interfere with anything. She literally is just sexist towards dudes. Why would she fire dudes? Because they did what they want. Leslie Headland got a chance to do whatever she wanted, and that show got canceled. I could think of any other reason why, but who knows? I'm a genius.
Should we take a look at your show? It seems like, you've got something against chicks or something for dudes. It seems like, there's nothing but dudes on your show. Should we look into that?
There's some nuance and context there. Men treat me better. I love men, and men are awesome to talk to more than women. See, 3 bangers.
Plus, you've retired from women.
I've retired from women. That's true. Was Kennedy successful as a president of Lucasfilm? As if a lot of people know. And, I would say it's mostly 90-10. I'll give you that. That's a percentage range. She certainly wasn't a failure. That's debatably too. The sequel trilogy grossed over $4 billion worldwide after all, and The Mandalorian was the flagship show of Disney+. Okay, they're doing this thing as far as like, okay, yes, the movies made money. They were going to make money regardless of the Star Wars. This is a thing that people do in arguments where, well, that movie made a lot of money, so it must have been good. It's like, no, those movies are all bad. They stink. Force Awakens stinks. Last Jedi stinks ass. And Rise of Skywalker, holy living mother of God, that movie's ass. Like, yeah, they were going to make movies. Good Lord, some stuff is going to make money regardless because of how big certain things are. That's make the quality of those movies good. Do you know someone in your life that thinks those 3 movies are good? I've never met a person that actually genuinely likes those movies ever.
Not all 3 of them.
People do like The Mandalorian.
I mostly hear people saying the first one's okay, the last one was all right, and the second one was bad.
People did.
Some people love the second one though. Some people love the second one. I don't
like. The second one's grown on me. I'm not gonna say it's a great Star Wars film. It is far from that. It's an okay movie. If you could divorce it from that, I wouldn't hate it as much. But man, to follow up that first one with that, it just. And then to go back to that same plan in the third one is just it is the worst, most broken trilogy ever.
Yeah, I'll just bring up The Mandalorian. People liked it first 2 seasons. They loved the whole Baby Yoda thing. That's something that was a success for them. It is getting a movie because the quality of it was good enough for a lot of people to actually justify watching it. That isn't the same for The Acolyte because a lot of this stuff, just wasn't that good of retention time. I hope they bring up Boba Fett. That was bad. Boba Fett is bad. The way they treated that main actor, where they basically made him cameo in his own show. First 3 episodes on Power Ranger motorcycle bikes, even more or less ghetto than that.
Okay, but Boba Fett got to ride a Rancor, so what are you complaining about?
I hate you. Fuck off. A franchise with such cultural significance that will usher Star Wars back into theaters. Good Lord. You believe that if you want, buddy. But she also wasn't an untrampled success. And there were so many mistakes and missteps. So she had a golden egg of a franchise, and you said she kind of squandered it. Whatever. I don't think it's a coincidence that reports of Kennedy's departure have leaked so soon after the Andor Season 2 trailer. The first season of Tony Gilroy's dark, cerebral Star Wars TV show was undeniably one of the highlights of the Kennedy era. Popular and critically acclaimed. Viewership was low, but it has been sustained over the years. Season 2 already felt like a line drawn under the past. The final show from that fateful Disney Investor Day back in 2020, leaving the future in motion. This year's Star Wars celebration feels like something of a reset moment, an opportunity to relaunch the franchise ahead of The Mandalorian and Grogu. In truth, we need that. 2024 was a particularly bad year for Star Wars fandom, and there's a sense of desperation right now, an eagerness for something fresh and new that fundamentally is Kathleen Kennedy's abiding legacy. She will be remembered for some successes, yes, but ultimately for the fact that we need a reset. It's not entirely fair because the problems aren't all her fault, but it is what it is. She is stepping down at the right time. Yeah, after the whole franchise is completely just, people have such apathy for it. Yeah, you know what? When I basically kind of ran this thing into the dirt, now it's my time to leave. But what's that thing she did with the Joker did? Some people just want to watch. No, the thing that she said, oh, it's not about the money. It's about sending a message. Oh, and guess what else we're getting after this, guys? That potential Ray movie. Because Daisy Ridley's like, yeah, we might get the Ray movie. No one wants that. Who the fuck want? We had enough of Ray. I've seen enough Ray. I'm good. And Daisy Ridley as an actress is not that good anyway. It's very trash, honestly, in my opinion. Like, who the fuck wants a Ray movie? That's all we can come up with is a Ray movie? Nah, do what you got. Start over. Start over from scratch. Make that comic book series, The New Republic from the comic books, do that. It's a direct sequel storyline with Thrawn, I forget the name, the character the Thrawn after that, and Lady Jane and all that other shit. I haven't read it yet. I have the Epic Collections for it. There's stories after the Return of the Jedi to go off of, to have movies and shows on. There's Vader solo comics you can take inspiration from. There's stuff here. There's Mace Windu stuff out there in comic book format. Use stuff like that. Fucking God. This is why you never hire a woman to do a man's job. But yes, Lunchbox Warren, what is your final thoughts on Kathleen Kennedy potentially stepping down as the president of Lucasfilm?
I think it's a broken machine that she had part in, but I don't know if it's going to get any better. This doesn't mean that everything's going to get better now. And even if it does get better, the faith that they have to build back is going to be a monumental task. That if you look at Star Wars, Marvel, and DC, Star Wars has the deepest hole to dig out of. Marvel's getting close.
Aside from MSK.
Well, yeah, DC is, I think, is on the right track. So yeah, I'm, good for her that she's retiring. Best of luck in whatever she does next. Happy life, but I don't think this is going to change much.
Gray, what about you for our typical lame and gay Kathlina?
Well, in honor of Miss Kennedy, I've taken her form for the evening, but yeah, I gotta say it really sucks because she had quite a legacy. So you mentioned all of those movies before, but on top of that,
legacy,
it's 8 Best Picture nominations as a producer. She knew how to put together, or at least get everything that the directors needed to make some really amazing films. Again, E.T., Color Purple, Munich, Warhorse, Lincoln, and then there were like 3 other ones. I am totally missing them, but still 8 Best Picture nominations. She had a huge legacy, and sadly, this is such a mixed output for Lucasfilm, to put it mildly. Most of them are failures, but still, under her reign, we did get some really cool shit. I know I like Skeleton Crew. It's not everyone's favorite, but Andor seems to be universally loved by those who actually watched it. Again, she had kind of tainted most of the audience to where they didn't trust it at all. They weren't going to give it a shot, and fair enough. It was hard to. I know I took a few months to get into it because I thought there's no way. I saw Obi-Wan, and I can't remember the order that they all came out in, but it's like, I don't know. I'm just over this. But sadly, some of these really worked out for me. So I think it kind of makes sense that she's going out after Andor season 2. What else do they have that's good?
Well, I wanted to ask you this.
It looks like it's going to be strong.
Did you or Warren, did you guys ever watch that Tales of the Jedi animated series where it was telling the backstory of all the Jedi, like Mace Windu, Count Dooku, Qui-Gon? Did that ever come out? I know that came out, but no one ever
came out. I watched clips of it, of different parts, but I never watched the full thing because I got rid of Disney Plus.
Yeah,
so.
I think the same. I think I know I've definitely seen parts of it.
An anthology Jedi.
I didn't know if it ever actually came out.
Idea. That is a cool idea, but keep in mind, if no one watched it, it's like you're at this point now with Star Wars where fan base is divided. You have people that put everything that Disney Star Wars does down their fucking throat to their esophagus like some porn star who takes dick in the mouth. or you have people that are just so apathetic towards Disney at this point, they just don't give a fuck. Now, like I agree with you guys.
You were so subtle with that. I didn't know where you were going until you finished that. Then it's like, oh, that's what he meant. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just such a mixed legacy. I can understand why she wants to go out after Andor too. I think it's been like 5 years we've been getting the rumors that, she's out. Guess what? They just fired her. Like, you're never going to believe this. From what I understand, so she's had a contract that needs to renew every 3 years. From what I understand, like 3 years ago, she actually had like an exit interview lined up with somebody and then just completely canceled it and ended up renewing her contract. So I don't know, man. It feels like it's been a long time coming, but it's very mixed. I think everybody wants to go out on a high note. I kind of have a feeling the only thing that's lined up that is going to be somewhat quality is going to be Andor 2. So I really hope that lives up to it. But yeah, that's where I would get out.
It really reminds me of that star quarterback who's on an amazing team, and then they want more money, so they leave to another team thinking it's all them, and then they just have a whole bunch of stinkers. I kind of feel like that's what happened here. She was on all-star teams, great movies, Oscar-nominated films.
Scotty Pippen to Michael Jordan.
Decided she was going to go to the Raiders and take them to a Super Bowl, and then end up just washing out for 3 years. So yeah, I kind of feel like that's what happened to her on this whole thing. But they don't call me, so
yeah. So for me, it's just what I said just a second ago there. The fan base is pretty divided. You have Disney shills who suck dick just about as good as Riley Reid back in her prime, and fucking hell, Brat Nasty. Oh, Adriana Chedek. Oh my God, what a star. She could really took on some cock. But we're at this.
Not familiar with those dudes.
Those are grown women, literal women, not the fake Looney Tunes that you guys are interested in now these days. But it's just really just cooked right now. Whatever the box office gross of Mandalorian and Grogu is, that's kind of just the state of the interest in the brand. If that doesn't have any interest, it's kind of to take a break. All you really can do.
If that bombs, that might be the final.
You have to reboot at that point. You have to change course then.
Well, imagine Disney bought Lucasfilm for $4 billion, and it's probably worth $1 billion now. Like, if they sold it back to George Lucas, he'd probably get it for half, if not a quarter of what he sold it
yeah,
for.
They haven't even made their money back from the acquisition, as we know.
And like Indiana Jones is ruined. Willow is ruined. I mean, there's so many
Disney just buys franchises and kills them. Marvel's dead. Doctor Who for a lot of people,
We didn't touch on any of the Lucas stuff other than Star Wars, but as Warren brought up, it's like, my God, they just erased Willow from the face of the earth. That
could have been a huge success for them, and that was just terrible.
Oh God, man, what else is there to say about Kathleen Kennedy? Yeah, I'll just say this for people here: if you're going to give her credit for all those other movies, then you must also not give her credit for the other ones, right? I think it's pretty fair. She gets credit for the good things that we may or may think she did on those movies, even though there were some high-profile, talented people on there besides just the directors too. And it's not just her; it's a whole crew of people: directors, producers, assistant directors, casting assistants, all that stuff. So that's kind of just where it's at with my butthole, and I'm rapping. I'm joking. It's just jokes, but no, that is currently where we are at with Star Wars. It's just apathy, division, hatred, and basically just remembering the good times. Star Wars, just do shit from the comic books. At least you have a storyline there for a lot of them. That stuff you can legitimately utilize. But you know what? Knowing Disney, they butcher that fucking shit too, because they're just actually just weird morons. They are allergic to money, And they wanted the franchise to look like this. They went all on this LGBTQ weird people fucking bullshit. Well, that's not most of your franchise. That's not most of your audience too. Insulting a lot of them, not a good idea either. When they were your willing paying customers since almost like the very beginning, 1977 for a lot of people, honestly. But now they hate you. You're not their target audience. You, the person who's been here forever, not the weird fucker with blue hair on Twitter talking about chopping off his nuts. Yeah, that's their customer. No money, right? But who knows? It's all good. As the article said, it is what it is. I'm the Riz Master for a reason. But yeah, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have not already, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. or go live. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're going to sign out, guys. See you guys later. Deuces. Peace. We'll be heading out of here in about 5 minutes. Almost done. Okay, now. That was a great video. Holy crap. You guys are clout chasing fucks. It's physically painful for MSK to give women any form of credit. Yep. Because that's how a team works. Yeah. I'm just saying, that's how a team works. But that's how star players work too. If she's a star player, she gets all the blame. And if she does a good job, she gets all the praise. She got all the praise for The Mandalorian. In order not to praise her for that, for a lot of people, then she gets blamed for The Last Jedi because she's an idiot. Women are so dumb. Who the fuck that was a good idea? Yeah, Luke is a hermit drinking cow titty milk. Yeah, great idea, Kennedy. Only you would think of that. She went on some fan fiction Tumblr forum and saw that shit.
With all fairness, the siren, that's all on Rian Johnson. That has nothing to do with Kathleen Kennedy. It's an interesting thing, but she basically just told him, like, okay, go ahead, write your version of it. And it just was not checked with anything. But hey, as long as you brought up the siren.
That was the handpicked person by George Lucas where Rian Johnson said, this is what I want to do. I want to make a movie that divides the fan base. Cool. What a stupid broad, man.
The fact that Rian Johnson wrote something that the guy who was doing the third movie knew nothing about, where the guy who was doing the third movie was meeting with Mark Hamill while Rian Johnson was doing all this stuff. Like he was meeting with Mark Hamill. They were going through plans, what they were going to do to close everything up. And then The Last Jedi comes out, and the first time he sees it is when it comes out with everybody else. That is a massive mismanagement when your third movie director doesn't know what the second one's doing, and the second one is completely ignoring what the first one did. So either she knew about it or she was so hands off that the whole thing crumbled around her, and she just didn't realize, like, why would Rian Johnson do that? Does Rian Johnson hate Kathleen Kennedy? Or, like, why is it the third guy doesn't know what the second guy's doing? And it's just,
there was no plan, which is the thing. Like, JJ just kind of left these breadcrumb trails, and Kathleen just told Rian, like, pick up from there. And he is kind of painted in a corner. Like, what do you have Luke do? He's secluded himself on some island, and he doesn't want to be well, I guess we don't really know. We just know that Rey is bringing him the saber. So what do you have him do? Like, you basically either have him be like all giddy, like, yay, I never thought you would have given me that. Or kind of, toss it down or say, like, I don't care about that. It is a weird way that you got to, like, pick up a film. But, man, his choices, it did not work well for the fan base.
No. It really felt like because JJ did set up some stuff, and it felt like he just went through. It's like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. Rey's not going to have parents. Because the first Force Awakens kind of clues in, is Obi-Wan or is she an Obi-Wan? Is she, along those lines? And then it's like, no, she's none of that. And that whole casino part was a complete waste of time.
Space horses?
Yes. Then the was it the 2 mile per hour space chase? That was just weird, and it was just the whole thing. Like the commander not telling her best pilot the plan when the plan is to try to sneak people. Like, just all of the horse.
The Tico sisters, the space bombers, the Holdo maneuver. There's so many bad ideas in that thing. Like, I would have to think if you cut out a good bunch of those ideas, like Cantabite, man, it would just be so much better of a film. But so much bad shoved into one movie. That throne room scene, though, mock it as much as you guys want to. It is one of my favorite duels as far as fight scenes go. But there's definitely dudes standing around in the background just waiting to, like, fall over. But still, I liked it. I did not expect they were going that way with Snoke. I thought they were actually setting him up to be some major bad guy. I don't know. That kind of took me off guard. There's some things that he did that subverted my expectations, not in the worst way, but Luke with the siren drinking the green milk. Just, I can never unsee that.
I never understood what the thought process was killing off Snoke. Like, did Rian get told to do that? Why would you set up the third director that way? It's like, hey, here you go. I'm giving you nothing to work with.
So no, it was never like planned to happen, but they didn't have a plan of what anything was supposed to be. And then he brought up the whole one interesting thing is Broom Kid. Like, okay, so anybody can have the Force. It's not just these special chosen people that are from bloodlines or whatever.
Yeah.
That was kind of a cool idea. And then the next movie is just like, oh, hell no. Like, I can't believe he did that.
What is funny, though, is that they freed the space horses that got it immediately recaptured, but they didn't free the slave children in the casino. That part was still to this day.
Dumbass. Dude, remember the part where they literally you're talking to that guy, Rose and Finn are talking to the guy, and he goes, they know he's a bad guy. He tells him, I'm a bad person. I'm in here for a reason.
Benicio?
Yeah, and then they get surprised when he betrayed them. He's like, why are you surprised? He told you he was a bad guy.
There was one thing they did, though, and there was the part where when they were heading back, he shows them like different kinds of fighters that he's clients for, and it shows that he was clients for both Rebels and for the Empire. And I really liked the idea that this whole war, that there's a whole nother like part of the galaxy that's kind of watching it, like almost like 2 third world countries going at it while we're selling weapons to both. I thought that was like a great little nugget. Like you could really go off of that for a huge story. It would have been
really cool.
Yeah, that would have been amazing, but it just
instead we get Akbar taken out so unceremoniously, and then we get the Holdo maneuver where you could have had some really heroic sacrifice from Akbar where he sets up a trap for them or something, and then you still lose the ship the same way, but you don't have to do that Holdo maneuver that like, okay, so nobody's thought of this ever before. Like, okay, right. I don't know, man. He just dropped the ball in so many different ways, but I don't know. I kind of respect some of what he did. Like he tried to do that whole like Rashomon thing, which Acolyte tried to do as well. But man, it just, to me, it was not the greatest payoff in Acolyte. This paid off a little bit better, but seeing like the Luke and his nephew, that the different takes on that scene, kind of the each one's version of it, and then kind of the truth. I don't know. It definitely could have been done better, but it seems like he was trying to do a Kurosawa type thing, much like they did with the first film, and just he chose a different one. What can I say? But I don't hate it as a movie, but man, as part of a trilogy, it is just so broken, and none of it makes sense.
Yeah. And we watched the original trilogy, and Luke is essentially letting the entire Rebel army burn because he believes he can save his father. And then we fast forward to the new trilogy, and he's ready to cut his nephew's head off the first time he feels some dark side in him. And it's like, whoa,
the whole movie just fundamentally fell apart. I already did a long form video on it from back when me and Strider talked, and the videos are on the channel where I put it together. It's essentially the reason, even if you like aspects of it, the reason why it's a flawed film is because it directly shits on who Luke Skywalker is and the fundamentals that go into him. Keep in mind, this is a guy that didn't know his dad. His dad is essentially Space Hitler, I guess to use that as a term. He believed there was good in him. At the very last moment, even after this dad cut off his hand and actually wanted to kill him, he believed there was good in that guy. And then it's just like what you just said. He notices there's slightly evil in his nephew, and then he wanted to kill him. That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think there's a way that you could have had Luke go into seclusion, but maybe more he feels like he is turning to the side of anger or something like that, something where he wants to protect people from him or something. But I don't see the way that he made the turn. It just doesn't seem to work for me.
Maybe he should have maybe that was a clone of Luke. Maybe Luke had a secret twin, another secret twin or something like that.
I'm just saying, the next movie, have him wake up and just be like, oh, it was all a dream. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Because keep in mind, before we watch, I know there was a Clone Wars, but a lot of people only watch the movies from the original trilogy, the prequels to the new ones, right? Well, the last time you saw him, because people didn't really read the books, to be honest, people don't really read that much. But there is a book audience. I'm not saying there isn't. Or comic-wise, too. It's just like, there's no way you could get someone to believe that he would do that. It doesn't make any sense from the progression of the character we saw in previous movies. Why would he believe that his nephew... And keep in mind, he's about to kill his nephew. I thought he loved his sister. Well, and first of all, why is his sister... Didn't even... You tried to kill my son!
that would have made Thanksgiving awkward.
I fully understand why you didn't like him. He tried to murder him.
I like Gray's suggestion. It's like you just have Kylo go full dark side, and then Luke is in seclusion because he failed teaching Kylo. Like that would be better than. No, Kylo really wasn't that bad, but because you overreacted.
But I almost murdered him in his sleep.
Yeah, I murdered him in his sleep, and I overreacted.
Yeah, he believed in the good in someone that he never knew in his entire life, and he believed that there was an ounce of good in him to betray the Emperor, and then he's gonna, at some first glance, try to kill his nephew. Like, holy fuck! You just can't convince me that that's a good plot line. That's why the movie falls apart. It fundamentally makes no sense from the Luke Skywalker we know. Like
Luke should have been guerrilla style in weird cantinas doing like spy kind of stuff, and then Rey.
And there's no backstory on how we get to that mindset. Like, keep in mind, this is also the reason why that movie fails too. There's no backstory to show what his life was from Return of the Jedi all the way to this. We're supposed to just believe that this is what he is now, and that's just accepted. And it's like, could you explain to me how he got to that point? No, this is just who he is, and he's just like this. He's a grumpy old man. It's like, well, that fucking sucks. No progression to see how he got to that point. Nothing. People wonder why movies fail now. The execution on them is bad.
But Kathleen Kennedy knew that wasn't good. So what they decided to do was give you fan service and show you everything you wanted, like Boba Fett riding a Rancor. So, they course corrected.
Yeah. And we got Baby Yoda out of it. Everyone just called him Grogu later on, but he was called Baby Yoda originally. He's really cute. I like the little fucker. But, like, that's only for women, though. Women like Baby Yoda. No dudes like Baby Yoda. Come on, that's a girl thing. Look how he's so cute. You just get a baby Yoda doll for like your significant other, and then they'll just sleep with you. But we'll be heading out of here a little bit. Oh God. Oh fucking hell. Lauren has one. No.
Mm-hmm. And it even lights up your lawn.
Oh, that's cute. Oh fucking hell. Good Lord. When he actually evolves into a Yoda, it's gonna be like, oh damn, he's not cute anymore. He's just an old, disgusting alien.
Dude, he's already like 50 something or whatever.
He's 50.
So. Yeah, he's 50 right now, and they that's still child for his race or whatever.
So you're never going to see him grow up.
Never. Yeah. Especially in this timeline, it's all getting rebooted after Mandalorian and Grogu. It's all going to be a fresh. What if they do the whole DC route? Whatever you just saw before is not canon in the sequel trilogy. It all is canon now. This is the new canon.
If they wanted to, what they should do is just fast forward 1,000 years and start a whole new.
That's what I said too. Yeah. What they also need to do is establish more Jedi. If that was only one of the few issues they have with Star Wars, there's not enough Jedi the later the series goes because they become extinct. There needs to be an abundance of a lot of stuff if you're going to do it forward. 1,000 years, move on from everything, start from scratch. But they tried doing that with the new trilogy. They've proven they can't make new characters, at least ones you care about, or at least the ones you like,
Well, they got to be smart about it. Focus on script. You have one voice who is controlling the creative over all 3 films. You have a vision, get everything all set up, have the scripts for 2 and 3 done before 1 even starts filming.
Yeah,
and really take your time and set something up. Do like
that's what James Gunn did with Superman. Yeah, he's taking his time, one project at a time. Yeah,
projects will not be greenlit till the script is done. That's the reason why Supergirl got moved up, Clayface got moved up, and then a couple other movies got moved back. Is because the scripts aren't ready. I just if they did that, I think you would have a lot better go. Slow down. We don't need to have 3 movies or a movie a year and all these bad shows. Make one good show, one good movie. All
right. So we'll start with Gray Poupée. What do you got planned coming up that the audience should know about?
Let me think. In about 8 short hours, there's going to be, this group, this meeting of minds, if you will. People from, like 4 countries, possibly continents, are getting together, and we're all going to talk about Kathleen Kennedy. And then we have a special guest, Zax. You might know who that is, MSK. Mm-hmm. Well, Zax is going to come on, and he's going to tell us all about Pedro Pascal. Apparently, there's certain aspects to his background that aren't necessarily, how he's portrayed it. Apparently, he might be some royalty. But yeah, come and join the Thinkers. It's people from a bunch of different countries getting together, disagreeing about everything.
I tried messaging him to come on. He just ghosted me, so I'm not.
Well, he's way bigger than you. He's a real YouTuber, so he has to go on the bigger shows like WZ happened to be so kind as to put in there. But YouTube at that darn kidda for the Thinkers tomorrow morning. Come and join us. It's always a great time.
Yeah, I'm not too far.
That's about all I got going on.
Ghost me.
What about you, Warren? What you got going on, sir?
I'm going to be with MSK coming up here on Friday as we go over the Absolute Power Wonder Woman #1, as well as issue 2 of my comic book. Is been first print run has been done, and I'm setting up the Kickstarter for that. I'm probably going to wait to launch the Kickstarter until after I get done with this big convention that I've got coming up in April. But just follow me, Lunchbox Warren, on all the social medias, and I'll be doing live streams on TikTok, and I'll be doing a lot more. So,
is there anything else that I wanted to cover besides looking this good? No, just kidding. Tomorrow, one-on-one with Comics Dad, 5 p.m. PST. Cloud9 podcast with Chaz around 7:30, 8 p.m. PST. Then I have the show with Warren. He's covering for Sci-Fax for the next 2 weeks. Probably just have him on after that too, just to go over episode 1 anyway. After that, Saturday panel show. We'll cover the DC announcements then. And that's pretty much it. It's gonna be I've just been so busy, guys. I've been slammed. I have just been going through it recently, but it's okay. It's fine. I'll have my vacation come up soon when we have the FNT meetup. Are you gonna go, Warren, this year? You going to the Vegas meetup?
No, I didn't even know about it until you guys mentioned it. So I would.
It hasn't RSVP'd or anything yet. Nothing's been announced. It's from what I heard, they're basically nailing down a new bar. So they're close to that. That's all I heard. But they might announce it. They have to pretty much announce it by this week because people need like at least a 2-3 week notice in advance to get the funds and get ready to go and book hotels and all that shit. So
yeah. That is right, Wheezy, but I don't use X anymore, so just the Lunchbox one on Facebook is better on that one.
He maybe might do YouTube content again, but he had to talk to EVS on Twitter a lot, so he was like, I'd rather shoot myself in the brains than talk to EVS ever again. That guy's a fucking actual idiot. Holy shit, that guy's retarded as hell. Why would anyone think the guy?
It's not much of a trade to go on the MSK show, though. I mean, barely a step up.
Thank you. I'm glad you agree with me, Gray. Holy fuck, whose side are you on? So, yeah, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. We'll see you guys later.